doing this, and I remember how to do this. We hit the things. Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello?
Is this on?
Are we on?
Is this really happening?
So I don't remember how to do things, chat, but if you could tell me if the audio levels are okay. I think
You
they
can't
are.
trust chat on these things, man. Every
Well,
time they're like, "Oh yeah,
you know-
sure," and then you listen to the end recording and it's off.
I'm looking like I'm a person. I don't know why. I'm looking at the levels. The levels seem fine, but I don't trust them, even though that's what they are. It's the levels.
That's because you're looking at sound. Makes no sense.
It's true. It's like hearing. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Hearing light. You're hearing light.
Yes. I know my lighting isn't the greatest. Apologies. Still working on that. We'll get
Yeah,
there.
he's having a lot of trouble hearing it.
Yep.
Yep.
He's blue, dabba dee, dabba da, da, dabba.
Oh, now it's purple and red. What is going on back there?
What? I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy. But no, this is too. There's not enough light. I'm working on some things. I went to IKEA. Short story. Went to IKEA for the first time in my life. A couple days ago.
Did you get a table made of popsicle sticks?
What a beautiful place. This shelf behind me was from IKEA. And then I got these
Is it
LED
made of,
lights. And
toothpicks?
then my next project, I got this like web of LED lights. Oh, ooh, that are going to I need to mount to the wall. And I think it's going to be like my front facing lights.
Are you gonna do the Stranger Things thing where you like ball it up and
Yes, I'm going to spell letters.
spell things out and
So you can hear the words by looking at them.
sounds good.
Ooh, I like it.
All right, I think we're ready to do
You got
this thing.
you got the bucketed shelf at IKEA, like the little.
The squares?
Yeah.
Yes.
See, I need something like that.
I've wanted them forever, and they have them in all different sizes. You can get like different shapes, different colors. 'Cause
See,
it's the
I need
perfect,
that.
and it's obviously a very
It's like the
empty
perfect
shelf right now.
memorabilia
Yeah,
thing. Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
perfect.
No, I want it. I want it.
Pretty good. It's pretty
Really
good.
Yep. I like it.
good.
Have I showed you guys mine?
No.
I can. Here, let me see if I can.
Oh, why do you cut all that out of the frame? That's pretty
Because
cool.
it's too far away. So this is my little
away.
thing. My wife made the
out of Connects, right?
out of Connects, exactly. The thing, and so it's got all my stuff, my Mass Effect.
Oh,
Painting
is that from
Ashley
Pat? From
for me?
Pat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have.
You just gotta sit at an angle so where that's in the background all the time. Somehow.
I need to
Don't know if it's possible.
get
I've been
my-
in that room and I don't think it is possible.
I need to get my Pat painting and put it up because I have one. Anyways, it's podcasting.
It
It
is.
is.
I'm going to test one other thing with chat real quick and just tell me if this is too loud. If your ears are bleeding when I do this, just warning. I think it's fine though. And cut.
I thought you were dropping some awesome news there, Wicked, but you're just spreading.
Sick
Tree
beats.
comes in.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm really like I'm trying to remember how to do this stuff. I don't know. Everything's in a different spot as well, so
That's why.
yeah. And like I switched like the order of where I'm putting stuff on the monitors. It's gonna, in the end, it'll be good. And I'm on my table right now is a plastic fold out table, but I put a nice black tablecloth on it, and it looks great. Okay.
Very classy. Yes.
Now we're doing the thing. I've stalled long enough, and here we go. This episode of Lords of the Storm is brought to you by our sponsors over at Patreon, where you, yes you, can also support the show. Just head over to patreon.com/Lords of the Storm to become a patron today.
gather tribute, and earn my favor. What do you say? Are you ready to begin?
Yes, I'm ready.
Oh, is this?
Indeed, we are ready
am I
to
sp-
begin.
Is this me? Am I on now?
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
It's been a minute. Hey, everyone. It's me, Gizmo. Welcome to. I'm so scared right now. Stage fright. Welcome to episode 183 of Lords of the Storm. That's 183, right?
You've lost track, of course.
Yeah, no,
but yes,
I've been
Yes.
gone. Okay.
Wait,
know.
let's just take a second. We've done 183 episodes. That's a lot of episodes.
It is.
That's like almost 4 years worth of episodes. It's kind of crazy.
It is. It's we're
we're
like
coming up on it.
We're like 3 6/8. That's not right. 6/9, I think, is closer.
Yeah, I think sometime like late January, early February is the 4 year.
No, February.
Something
We
like that.
started in February.
We did some. We mapped
February
it out.
February 15th or something, or 5th. I don't know.
We'll have to pull it up again. Yeah, it's all out there.
Yeah, it's there.
Episode 1 is still in existence. I don't know if I recommend it to anybody, but it's out there.
I wouldn't. Okay, here. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 183 of Lords of the Storm, Heroes of the Storm podcast. My name is Greg Gizmo Zord Parker, and I'm joined tonight, of course, by the Zord Lords themselves, Mr. Kevin Multi-Zord Ellis and Ryan TBK Zord Reader. And on this week's episode, have no fear, for I am here. Some of you will get that. I hope. I think. Maybe. BlizzCon season has officially started with the all-access kickoff show. We all level up with the HGC fan guide, and we talk some Mephisto, which, by the way, I personally am super excited about this character because I haven't gotten to talk about him yet.
That's true.
But
yeah.
we're gonna talk about him in this week's Hero of the Week. Before we get all to that stuff, though, let's see how the other guys are doing. How the fellas are doing tonight. TBK, how are you? What have you been up to?
I'm doing well, and what I've been up to is Heroes and some WoW, but actually a lot more Heroes this week. Yeah.
Still doing the Team League stuff, or?
We've been trying. Our schedules haven't been syncing up a ton lately, and so that's something I've been wanting to try and get back into as soon as some of the business wears off for both of us. But it is still a goal. I've gotten, I think, over 30 Team League games so far this season, which for me is actually really good. So
Yeah.
I'm still working on that. I've been playing a lot of Mephisto, been playing a lot of Tyrande rework, which I super love.
Yeah, she's super fun.
Big fan. Yeah, I think they finally got it. It feels like she's finally clicked into the whole state of things. And then of course getting super amped up because it's BlizzCon season. BlizzCon season has officially started. We are 7 weeks ish and counting from BlizzCon.
It's coming up, but
yes.
the fact that the seasons already started rather, and we're going to have like content drip out for us on the app and that sort of thing right now. It kind of feels like, you know how certain stores are already putting up the Christmas stuff. It just seems early. I don't know. Like it's
before
fine.
Halloween.
I'm not complaining. Yeah. Oh no, that's definitely a thing. If you've ever been to a Cracker Barrel in the Middle West, let's call it that, Middle West, you know that the Christmas and Halloween stuff's already up. So, but yeah, I kind of feel that way about this. Although maybe it's just because it hasn't hit me yet how close we are to this thing. I'm not sure on that one. But either way, yeah,
Well, we've got our plane tickets booked.
that's true.
Got the BlizzCon. If you got your actual BlizzCon ticket from Universe, the barcodes have all been sent out, and
That's
the
right. That's right.
the digital codes for your virtual tickets with all the digital goodies are already sent out and in. So we're there. We in this thing.
So
So
that's why you needed Tank Zord's email. I'll get it to you eventually.
No, I've got it's already done.
Really?
was
How'd you get it? Are
I
you
asked him.
psychic? Oh well, that was wise.
oh
We did one of those BlizzCon bundles where we all jumped on at the same time, and
Yeah.
I was the one who ended up getting in, so I had
Worked
to
out.
distribute all the tickets out. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, Multi, how are you doing? What have you been up to?
I'm doing quite well. I've been playing some heroes, really just to touch again on Mephisto and Tyrande when I can. I've been playing a little bit of WoW and a little bit of Hearthstone. Honestly, not as much in either that I'd prefer. But the main thing I kind of wanted to talk about just really quickly here is that I think that getting back into Pokemon Go is going to do permanent psychological damage to me. And here's why. So there's the new, it's not even that new at this point. It's been out for a few months, the gifting system where you can send gifts to everybody. I feel like this Christmas is going to come along, Gizmo, and I'm going to get a bunch of gifts, and I'm going to be like, oh, well, that's cool, but, I've been getting, like 50 gifts a day. It's going to underwhelm me around Christmas and birthday time because I'm just raking in the gifts all the time.
That's true. I've been sending gifts to people for years.
You have?
Yeah.
Like in Pokemon Go? Or are you talking about real gifts?
I can send some. I can send whatever I want of gifts. I can send like baby dancing gifts.
Oh, gifts.
I can.
I see what you did there. Yeah, good call.
No, it's. I don't know.
What's happening?
I don't know. It's
And
just
Gizmo's forgotten what the show is
we're
about.
just letting it happen. We're just letting it happen. Okay, so myself, we're gonna do a one-time new segment here, and it's called Chicka-pa-pop, Chicka-Chicka-pa-pa, Catching Up with Gizmo. I think that soundbite's copyrighted. I don't know if that's legal, but it's okay because mouth sounds are legal.
It's under 30
Everyone
seconds.
knows that.
Was that from the Doug show
Yeah.
on Nickelodeon?
I mean,
Okay.
no, it's from Lords of the Storm, Catching Up with
Okay.
Gizmo. God. Jeez, what's
Wasn't Seinfeld or anything?
yeah.
No, that was bass slapping. Yeah, that's right. Okay,
Uh,
I'm up on these things.
But anyways, so it's been a while for me. Like what, I missed 3 weeks, so it's been a month since I've been here, and I apologize for that. Things have been crazy. So we all know my new job's been crazy. It's still awesome. I love it. Things are settling in there. But then I had a bunch of stuff come up. In the same week, I had to find a new place to live. I had to, while working like 65 hours plus, on top of going to my parents and getting everything that I wanted to keep, from like grandparent stuff to stuff from when I was a kid, like going through everything because they were having an estate sale because they are moving to Florida, most likely. On top of getting ready for a cruise. And so things got real crazy. I had zero time. But things are, I'm back from the cruise. I'm now beginning to unpack my apartment and finally getting to where I can have some game time again. Since Battle for Azeroth launched, and I'm very saddened by this, I've been able to sit down at my computer 5 times to play games. I've played Battle for Azeroth twice. I'm not even max level yet, which saddens me. And I've been able to play Heroes 3 times. That I was able to get a Mephisto game in, which I'm super stoked about because he's awesome. So it's going to take me like a week or so to get caught up on everything. There was a ton of information out there. I promise I'm still, I didn't play the game for a little bit. It wasn't by choice. I'm still here. The old Gizmo's not going anywhere. He's back. Gizmo's
Well, luckily,
back.
catching up in Battle for Azeroth should be really easy for you because all you have to do is get enough gear through whatever to just AFK in Warfronts and do nothing.
Is that what people are doing?
Yep. It's not the best.
But it feels weird, though, because in World of Warcraft, this is the first expansion since Cataclysm where I haven't been, like, raiding hardcore
yeah, that's true. Mhm.
at the launch of an expansion. So
You're going to get back into it, do you think?
I don't. I was considering possibly doing like a regular, just like normal raids, but I don't even think I'm gonna be able to commit to that unless I find a team on Convert to Raid that's just willing to have me hop in out whenever I can get on. So
Right.
I may do that occasionally, but I'm for sure gonna do the LFR stuff, and then I am wanting to do some more PvP stuff this expansion. So and do some
Speaking
more
of
work on ops.
raids,
Have you guys done it yet?
no,
I've done a
I was
few
going to
months.
say it's been a while since we've had a PvE brawl in Heroes.
Oh, very good
It's
point.
also the last one was the
The last one was the
Defense. StarCraft defense.
defense of the StarCraft base.
Mhm.
And while we're on the subject, because that's a really good segue, I want more PvE brawls in Heroes.
Yep, we still need the
yeah.
the Diablo Greater Rifts.
That would be super
Within
awesome.
Heroes, yeah. I
Mhm.
feel like they could do something like that at BlizzCon, honestly. I mean, because 2 years ago we had the breakdown of you could go and try out the new heroes, Varian and Ragnaros, but then the other side was trying out a new brawl. There was that Black Hearts one where there was the attack and defense.
Yeah.
So they could do that again and have like a just super sweet PvE brawl
They
for
should,
people to line up for and try out
and it
on the new heroes.
and it should be a Diablo Greater Rifts because of course Diablo 4 getting announced. No, I don't know about that, but there are posts, of course, for what I think the latest one I saw was a dungeon designer for a new unannounced Diablo project. And multi,
Oh,
do
yeah.
not say a mobile Diablo game. Don't
I
do
know I had
it.
to put up that crap for 3 weeks.
Oh yeah, I did mention it the last couple of weeks, so I
Yeah.
was very tempted. Very tempted.
So
But no, this definitely seems like it's going to be the year of Diablo
Oh,
from
yeah,
a
for sure.
BlizzCon perspective. So it would be, and Heroes is the BlizzCon game, and so it would be really cool to see some Diablo type tie-ins with Heroes, with presumably all the awesome Diablo information that's going to be released. Imperius, please, and potentially a PvE brawl, Greater Rifts.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think it's
That'd be-
all
It'd be awesome. Get leaderboards up for that thing. People would love that. Try to do
leaderboards at
times.
BlizzCon. Oh, that would be sweet.
Oh, that
People
would be
would
too.
get,
Yeah,
people would get competitive over that.
yeah.
they
That'd
could,
be awesome.
I agree. Get in the test area, test them out, and have live leaderboards posted up. That'd be cool.
Yeah. The winners would probably still be Tempo Storm or something.
I mean, they did that with Mythic, or with Dungeon Runs, at BlizzCon last year.
Were there
Or WoW.
leaderboards?
Mm-hmm.
I knew you could like
There were-
go through
yeah.
it, but I didn't
Yeah,
know
there were
that. That's cool.
leaderboards for running some of the dungeons in WoW last year. So it would be really cool if in the Heroes area they had like a chunk of places, and brawls less than 10 minutes usually.
Mhm.
And so that could be really awesome that they could cycle teams of 5 through. You had to work with your teams, and either you tried to get as far as you could or as many points as you could in a certain time limit within the brawl, or you had to beat it as fast as you could.
They should do for a Greater Rift style thing. They should make it to where you can go like as long as you're alive, but if you reach certain points, it counts towards like another playthrough for the having to play 3 games to get your chest. That way you're not encouraged of I got this far or whatever. Let me just die real quick because I have to get 2 more games in. Like
Yeah, that
each
could work.
5 Greater Rifts or something. I don't know.
I like that for if we're doing it at home, but to do it at BlizzCon, I mean,
Oh, yeah,
I
just
kind
go.
of like TBK's idea of you get as far as you can in a certain time limit, like 5 minutes maybe.
Okay,
That way
Yeah,
the
yeah,
line
yeah.
is cycling through and such. So,
fair enough.
Oh, that would make me so happy. I would totally do that.
oh yeah, we would have to form a team, a dream team.
The dream team. But this is not our BlizzCon episode yet. We do have some other BlizzCon stuff to talk about here shortly, and by shortly I mean in like 10 seconds.
What a great segue.
But yeah.
there you go.
Speaking of, guys, news, BlizzCon, that's a thing that's coming up. It's officially BlizzCon season. I feel like we just talked about that. So we're going to keep talking about it for a minute because, again, the All Access kickoff show happened tonight. Were either of you able to catch it live?
I was.
How was it?
Not live here. I caught some of the VOD though.
I mean, it was just like any kickoff show, I guess. It was
Right.
I mean, it's just it. Yeah, it's just like any kickoff show.
It was the hosts, and they did it. They did a fine job. I kind of like the pacing of it. I didn't necessarily love because I mean, obviously, everyone's tuning in this thing to see what the Overwatch reward is going to be,
Which is awesome.
which is awesome. Yeah. But the way that they paced the video was a little interesting. They get out there and they said, "All right, and so we're gonna announce the Overwatch legendary skin, but first." The half
There's
hour
45 minutes of other stuff.
Right. So,
Well, they said half
mean-
an hour, but it ended up being 45 minutes of other stuff. But
Exactly.
I'm a sucker for all things Darren DePaul. So
yeah, fair point. Fair point.
Which-
that man is amazing.
By the way, I didn't know this until a few days ago, because again, out of town, craziness, weird things happening. He voiced Nazoth.
Nazoth.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also known as Flappy Boy.
Flat. That makes me uncomfortable.
It should.
I don't. I don't know what to
It's
think.
the fish. It's the fish flapping around.
I can say Zappy Boy, but
This
Flappy
way,
Boy
no.
makes
This
me...
way, there's Zappy Boy and Flappy Boy, and both, by the way, need to be in Heroes. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Well, you want Nazoth in Heroes?
Sure do.
He's gonna as soon as the Nazoth raid comes out, and the very first time a guild downs him in Mythic, all of a sudden Heroes is gonna get patched, and we're gonna get a little cinematic that's just Nazoth going ah, and he gets sucked through the vortex, and it poops him out, and he's gonna be like, "Where is this? I must find water and corrupt things." And then we'll have Nazoth.
How you play the hero is you just go for like all the wells are actually connected to each other in underground
You just
system,
jump-
Ooh, I
and
like
you just
it.
go from
Jump.
well to well, poisoning it. That's all
Until
you do.
all the wells are gone.
It's like an Abathur style play almost, but
Yeah.
yeah, I like it.
For sure. So I'm again getting caught up on this stuff. The big thing I saw that I have seen complaints about here, I'm sure most of you have seen by this point, because it's one of the things people get really stoked for BlizzCon. It's not like the thing you go to BlizzCon for or anything like that, but the goodie bags for BlizzCon. And
Are these out already?
they have shown, yes, what appears to be in the goodie bags.
Unboxings are out.
And it appears to not be much in comparison to other years. And again, not why we go to BlizzCon, but I've gotten bags, this cool satchel that I still use literally every day. It's my work bag.
The Stein.
Yeah, we got cool Steins. We've got
Oh, the Stein was amazing. That was a great year.
we've got a lot of cool stuff. And then from what it appears in this one, there's some sort of book. It looks like it's probably an art book,
It's a BlizzCon book,
a BlizzCon
like
book.
a photo book that commemorates previous BlizzCon events.
Ooh. I wonder if we'll have any like us in the front row at HGC at all. I don't know.
Ooh,
there's
there you go.
There's a couple coins. There's like a Raven Lord coin. It might be a coaster. I don't know.
It's a
Overwatch
magnet.
coin. It's a magnet.
Raven Lord magnet,
A
and it actually looks pretty cool.
it does.
Yeah, I do like it.
A StarCraft coin, a Warcraft keychain, a little Diablo figurine, which that's pretty cool, and then some Hearthstone stickers.
The Diablo figurine, and those are actually magnets. It's a big
Oh, magnets.
yeah, it's a big thing of Hearthstone magnets. So it's got the well played, oops, greetings, the little coin key, a mana thing, like a card back, and
It's
then
the cupcake
jar,
card back. I
Yeah.
like it.
They should
I
have
like it.
had
jar of mana.
another sticker that said Heroes, and then you could put the Raven Lord magnet on your fridge, and then put the greetings Heroes, because that's what he says.
That would have
That's
been
one
pretty
of his
cool,
lines.
actually.
Yeah,
I would have been down with that.
it's not too late, Blizz. Let's make it happen.
I should be a marketing manager. What can
I
say?
do like the keychains though. The obviously I only like one of the two keychains, but I like it.
There's only one
only one
keychain, and it's got
Really?
Horde on one side and Alliance on the other
Yeah.
side.
Oh, okay.
But-
well, what I'm gonna do then is I'm gonna just like pay someone to just
Scratch
shave
out
off
the one
the
side.
Alliance side. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but smoothly, so it just looks like it's a one-sided deal. That's what I'm
See,
gonna do.
that's That's what's wrong with you Horde players. I'm an Alliance player, but I'm also a Horde player. I'm going to keep them both. You know what? Because
Very, very nice.
Because I am a respectable human being. Because humans are Alliance.
Sure. This is what we haven't had to put up with for the last 3 weeks.
Nope.
I have to bring 3 weeks worth of nonsense to this show. That's what I'm doing.
It does look like the Diablo figuring is the high quality thing in this year's box.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does seem to be. And it is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like a Diablo 1 style. Is that Diablo 1 or Diablo 2? I think that's Diablo 1 style. Diablo.
2 has some similarities. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and look at some 1 type deal. It's definitely not 3.
No.
It's not the Diablo 3 style.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
it's interesting.
That's one of the things we found out. We've seen the key art for BlizzCon, which is pretty cool this year. I like it a lot.
I might get that poster actually this year.
So that's why I've gotten the shirts each year, and it's like I wear because I like wearing shirts. Obviously, I wear one every day.
I don't.
Shirts are cool.
But like BlizzCon shirts and stuff, like I wear them a lot, and so then they get like old, and it's not, it's something I want to keep for BlizzCon. So last year I got the poster. I'm gonna try and get posters from some of the previous years, see if I can find them somewhere, so I can frame them and put them on my wall. Because those are cool. But we have Tychus, we got Sourfang, we got Diablo, a very interesting looking Diablo. It's very like lizard-like.
Yeah, kind of unlike what we've seen before.
Diablo
honestly.
4.
Diablo 4, mobile only.
Boom. Gosh dang it! Don't. No.
Boom.
No.
You said boom.
No.
You said boom.
It's gonna be Switch only.
I'd
be okay with that actually.
We got
I could
McCree.
live with that.
We got I don't know what her name is from Hearthstone.
I believe it's Ava.
Ava. We have the cool mouse.
Don't quote me on that.
And then for the heroes character art, we have the Raven Lord, which is very interesting. A very interesting
The first
choice.
year there's been a legit heroes specific. I mean, we had Probius kind of on the key art too, which yes, it's hero specific and it's not hero specific because it's a probe from StarCraft 2. But this is like the first legitimate heroes only thing.
Yeah, which is awesome. Honestly, that speaks to just the fleshing out of the lore they've done so far this year, and tells me a little bit that they're going to look to continue to do that, possibly even with the Raven Lord in BlizzCon itself, as we kind of already suggested might be the case. But yeah, this to me says Raven Lord coming to BlizzCon. Maybe not as a playable character, although that would be sweet. But some content related to him.
Yeah, for sure, and it's pretty. I'm gonna say it's pretty ballsy by Blizzard, because either this is saying I don't think he's gonna be a playable hero, but this is either saying that or this is saying we are going to get a lot more lore at BlizzCon. Like you guys are gonna get a big heap of lore. Otherwise, I don't know why he'd be the character art. And if we don't, I just feel like people are gonna be upset. I would be fine, but.
My theory on this, and I posted it as soon as I saw the art, and we talked about it a few times the last few weeks, is I think this almost all but confirms that we are going to get a legitimate Heroes lore cinematic for the Heroes when in the main stage, the Heroes announcement, when they play all the cinematics. We got the Alex Raza Hanzo one last year. We got the Battle for Azeroth one last year. The new Overwatch short. We'll probably get another new Overwatch short, I'm sure. But and then maybe even like a high quality 8-1 cinematic, because they had the other Sorrowfang one. But,
Right. Yeah, no, I actually interpret perhaps all of this art as being hints towards high quality cinematics, because I could totally see Hearthstone's probably going to do another rendition of the Hearth and Home cinematic. That's why we've got Ava on there. StarCraft, who knows? But a McCree centered cinematic would drive that crowd nuts as well. So I don't know. We could be onto something. Now there's this not necessarily going to come to pass. I remember the year in which one of the key front pieces in the key art was Jaina. Was that last year? I think so.
I think so.
Yeah, and
I think so.
There wasn't a lot of Jaina content going on at the time because she just kind of ducked out during the Legion expansion because she's a coward like all Alliance.
Foreshadowing.
And
hey, you haven't played the Alliance side storyline, have you? Because she is brave and courageous.
Oh,
she
is
does,
she?
yes. You know, she's
a little crazy.
She has a lot of weight put on her shoulder, and she just takes up that mantle, and she says, you know what? It's something I got to do. The Alliance needs me. I'm going to go do this. And then, of course, she drags the most powerful hero along with her to help because she can't do it herself. Which is you. True. I mean, me.
Oh, right. Of course.
Yeah, whoever it is. It's very specific. But yeah, no, I think, and we'll dive deeper in as we get hints the coming weeks, I'm sure. But I like I said, I think this points to we're gonna get a legit hero cinematic, and it's going to be following from the comics that we've gotten and some of the Dark Nexus stuff, and it'll be fully fleshed out. You know, like 5, 6, 7 minutes of stuff, and then we're gonna get Orphea as a playable hero
and physical comics.
You're calling it.
Physical
comics. That would be awesome too. I'd be totally down for physical comics.
Real upset that's not in the goodie bag. I just wanted that's all I wanted. Here's the Storm physical comic. It's okay. Next year.
Yep. The only other thing I want to mention about BlizzCon right now at this point is that it appears as though the new mobile app is out, and so if you have either the virtual ticket or if you're doing the actually going there thing and have your codes, it seems like one thing that really did excite me in the video that they did today was just breaking out some of the new changes to that. I haven't gotten into play with the app yet myself, but they were touting that it's going to be easier to navigate between all the videos this time, and that it's had a complete overhaul of the UI inside and everything. So, and that was one of my complaints in the past. I kind of felt like it was hard to really track down every last little thing that you wanted. Like you could sort by game a little bit, but then you were just pulling up a big list and such. Mm-hmm. So I think any improvement there is good. And then kind of like we hinted at, they're going to be dropping little bits of content between now and BlizzCon over the next couple months. So that's things like where they go into the vault and kind of talk about Blizzard's history and the history of these games. And they have a bunch of art showcases where they might show like how they came up with certain characters and all this stuff. It's typically pretty good stuff, and I'm downloading the app as we speak so I can keep up on it.
Excellent. The one other thing I want to point out about the character art is you notice Tychus there? You notice what he's got?
Oh yeah,
it does appear he has a cigar.
Yeah, he does.
But how many people are offended by this?
It's not lit, so maybe like
this. He's just gonna carry around an unlit cigar.
People chew on cigars. People chew on cigars. That's a thing.
So gross.
So maybe like just not smoking a cigar, just having the cigar. It's the middle ground. We've reached a compromise, which is also better. So what happened to the first cigar was he dropped it in his suit, like everyone thought. He thought, hey, that sucks. It's hot. I just burnt myself. So his next one he put in his mouth, he's like, I'm just not going to light this one. Just going to savor the flavor. If I drop it, no big deal. No big deal. It's,
that's the middle point of the censoring.
Yeah, it's exactly what happened.
You can't have a lit cigar, but they didn't say anything about an unlit cigar.
Mm-hmm. And yes, I'm aware he did smoke cigars in StarCraft. He did, but then there was this. I don't know if it was China, because I know they have really strict like stitches and stuff. Can't have his stomach open. I don't know what country it was that was a no-no, so they had to change it at some point. So that's where that's coming from. All right. So we're going to have plenty of other BlizzCon stuff to come here in
apparently 7 weeks worth, because they're going to be doing live content now every single week leading up to this, because they didn't reveal all the digital goodies at one point. They just revealed the Overwatch one, and then they said they're going to reveal the others as they go, and then they'll become like in-game accessible as soon as they're done revealing them or something like that.
Yeah, seems to be because apparently the skin for Sombra is out now. So
yeah,
very interesting. Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be cool to get a hero exclusive skin for BlizzCon instead of just like a mount like we've normally gotten. it'd be cool if Blizzard was just like, here's a hero specific skin, and if you don't have the hero, you automatically get the hero.
Oh, that'd be
Okay.
cool. Yeah, that way no one misses out.
Yeah,
on
that
it.
way no
Because
one
I was
misses
kind
out
of
on it.
thinking like, oh, but what if they do blank hero and someone doesn't have it? But yeah,
Because
that
technically you
works.
paid for it
Right.
with your virtual ticket money or your BlizzCon ticket. And so I think that'd be kind of cool. Just some really cool like Nexus lore skin for
Maybe.
X hero.
Raven Lord Medivh.
That's what I was gonna say. Maybe if you know
Really?
he's never because they still haven't spilled the bean. Like they seem to be apprehensive still on us getting heroes lore specific characters in the game. They've broken on it a little bit since the initial, but who knows?
Well, what's interesting too is that they talked about this being the year of lore, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I have no doubt we're going to get some sort of lore big thing at BlizzCon, but I don't know. And maybe you guys feel differently. It feels like for this being the year of lore, it's been a little light. We've gotten
honestly,
two
yeah.
comics and one event.
Well,
That's it.
it's because they have a big surprise. You guys remember the Warcraft movie? Medivh was a Dreadlord. Medivh, secretly Ravenlord, a Lord of the Nexus. That's where he came from. He was actually from the Nexus before he went to the World of
Warcraft.
Warcraft. Yeah. It's all
That'd be a
bringing
twist.
it back around. Anyways, we can move on to stuff. One last thing, TBK, this Diablo figurine, you need to build that into our D&D campaign for at some point and use him, because I'm looking at the closer pictures, and he's a fantastic.
I
D&D
actually
character.
really like that idea.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
You're
the other
welcome.
three are gonna hate you.
So let's go.
Yeah, you're not
ahead.
going to win that fight.
Let's get moving on here a little bit, and we are going to move on into the HGC. All right, TBK.
So this week, few cool things. First off, there is a level up with the HGC fan guide, and this is kind of a compilation of. For a lot of people that didn't know, they've actually been publishing a lot of esports and guide content this year on the HGC website. And for those that didn't know that, or they didn't have a good spot for it, they've actually published an article with links to absolutely everything they've done this year.
Well, everything's still relevant. Which
everything's
I think
still
is pretty
Sure,
much
sure.
everything this year.
They've got like 10 hero guides from pros. They've got features on mechanics and stuff from different players. They've got a ton of video content. They've got their mid-game moves, the opening moves sections that they did and highlighted in like 4 article chunks a little while ago. They've got day 1, 2, 3, and 4 HGC Finals opening week tickets linked on there. They've got all about the Twitch cheer program and whatnot. So I linked it in chat. There'll be a link, of course, in the show notes. Definitely check it out. There's a lot of good content, for sure.
There is, and I love the idea behind this. What I really hope is that this becomes. I feel like this should actually become a section on the HGC website that they keep updated with content that's still relative to the game. As
Agreed.
far-
It would be nice to have
Yeah.
a one-stop shop
yeah,
type link.
for sure. Like especially because again, there's a lot of cool stuff here when it just comes to articles and stuff. But the opening moves, mid game moves type articles that we got, those are great. This is a fantastic resource from. They even suggest bookmarking this page. But at some point, meta's going to shift. This stuff's going to change. So it should just be like a place that you go and, again, the articles that are relevant when they keep adding more stay here, and the ones that aren't anymore perhaps fall off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
think
like
that'd
it.
be awesome.
Mhm.
Sounds like a great idea.
Because this is just a good resource that you could even just show a friend that's interested in the game, or checking out the HGC.
Yeah.
a one-stop shop would serve that as opposed to just digging around a bunch of articles. So yeah.
And the next step towards putting this in game as well. Oh, wow. It's fun how that comes around to that all the time. So next up, we have our HTC patch schedule. And this one's kind of interesting because we are moving into week 9 this weekend. And we are going to be on the Mephisto release patch. And so that's Mephisto, Tyrande, rework, and that small Alexstrasza Lifebinder change. However, it is noted that Mephisto is going to be disabled, which is a little strange from past things, because usually as soon as they move on to the release patch of a hero, the hero becomes enabled as well. So we may potentially have to wait until next week to see Mephisto.
So,
not quite sure why.
how I haven't seen the stats and stuff since Mephisto's release. How is he? Where's he sitting at? I mean,
He started in the high 40s, and he's been climbing over the last week or so. The last I looked, he was about sitting around 51 to 51.5%. So a pretty
That's a good release,
comfortable,
honestly.
yeah, a very, very comfortable release.
Yeah,
He's strong, but he's not like oppressively strong.
I feel like we even said when we tried him on the PTR that, oh yeah, this guy's going to come out middle of the pack, strong and good, but not like, blowing people out of the water either. And yeah, he just I mean, we'll get into it later, but he feels good.
yeah, that is interesting because like whenever I read release patch, but he's disabled, first thought that came to my mind was, oh, maybe he's too strong right now, getting some tweaks or something. They don't want him in. But if he's sitting at 51%, it's pretty darn good. So
It's possible there's a bug that is not known about. I don't know.
Or it could just be, I mean, isn't this part of the normal cycle? Like, don't
no. Usually when they go to the release patch of a hero, the hero is enabled.
yeah, maybe it's because you had the Tyrande rework and stuff. Maybe who knows? Maybe they talked to players. Maybe players were just like too much, or maybe they decided, hey, we don't want to throw all these changes and reworks and new hero into
maybe.
1 week, so
I assume, and I'm sure there's some precedence for it. I mean, this has been going on for quite some time, and we're still getting patches, the newer patches into HTC faster than we were this time last year. So, I mean, regardless, that it's been an improvement as we've gone along. I would be very surprised if we don't see him in week 10, but it's definitely. It'll be interesting to see if he is the last hero that is made available before BlizzCon, because we technically have 7 weeks, and so we should probably be getting, under normal times, we should start getting hero teases in the next week or two for the next one. So I'm guessing we will get one more hero before BlizzCon, but it is also possible that we will just get a big rework patch instead, and that we will get 2 or 3 reveals at BlizzCon.
I don't know. That is a long stretch of time.
That would be a really
to go
long
without
time.
a hero. And I mean, it's possible, because if that means that we get 3 heroes at BlizzCon, for instance, to me it's worth the trade-off. But no, I don't know. Like, yeah, that would be quite some time for me. What it might be is a hero that's like cool but not super hype. I'm thinking about. It seemed to me, I don't know the exact release schedule, but I shouldn't say this to throw shade at Zul'jin fans, but Zul'jin was one of those heroes that, at least for me anyway, was not released with a ton of fanfare and hype per se. Even though people love him, people love having the troll in the game, but it could be a hero like that where. There's not a ton of marketing behind it per se, but it's just not, and I shouldn't even call it filler between now and then, but you get the idea. It's just something to fill the time.
Are you saying you don't want Axe?
I want Axe, sure. Send it my way. Yeah. I'll give you my. Can you email those, or do you have to? I guess you have to physically mail those.
Can email Axe?
I can gift you an axe. I can't gift you an axe in Pokemon.
Oh, okay.
Ah, yes.
So.
So, anyways, it'll be interesting. We'll keep an eye on it, and we should be getting the schedule for next week's patch here sometime soon. The Heroes Esports Twitter usually tweets that out a little bit ahead of time to kind of give an idea. I'd be very surprised if we did not see at least one weekend of Mephisto availability. But my guess is the next big patch will probably end up being the BlizzCon patch that we see HGC played on in the finals.
Yeah.
Is there something else you had, Greg? Okay. Standings. So I wanted to kind of look at this as we're winding down, because it's this week and next week, and then playoffs and Crucible. So right now, Heroes Hearth Esports is sitting on the top of the NA side at 11-1. I don't remember. I haven't seen that they've officially clinched the BlizzCon spot, but they're really close. I think if they do well this weekend, they pretty much got that under lock. And then you have Tempo Storm, Team Freedom, and the newly reinvigorated Team Octalysis, who seem to be the other three major players who will be fighting for that second spot. Endemic is sitting pretty middle of the pack. Unless they do very badly in this week and next week, they should be fairly safe from the Crucible. So our Crucible teams right now for NA side are looking like Simplicity and LFM Esports, and then almost assuredly No Tomorrow, who is sitting at a 1-10 right now.
Woofda.
So that's kind of the standings for now. That's it, as far as we can predict. I have honestly, out of those top four teams, the Tempo, Heroes Hearth, Octalysis, and Freedom, I have no idea who's going to clinch that second spot. It's looking like Heroes Hearth will most likely get the first BlizzCon spot, but I have no idea who's going to clinch that second spot.
And it is honestly, super I prefer it when it's up in the air, because then it just keeps it exciting up until then, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to learn from my mistakes last time, and I'm going to say Team Freedom gets that second spot.
Ooh, okay.
I am hoping Octalysis gets it.
Really? All right.
They have shown, especially the last few weeks, if you've been watching, and if you haven't, go back and watch the Octalysis matches. They actually went, I believe, 3-2 with Heroes Hearth this last weekend, and it was very close. They have kind of dropped norms and have been playing their own game, and it has been incredibly interesting to watch main tank Zool in games and just pulling out all sorts of really, really interesting comps. And so they're incredibly entertaining to watch. And I kind of want that kind of unpredictability and that fun to be at BlizzCon, to be completely honest.
Yeah, and that's something that NA could use at BlizzCon, is something out of the meta. Because...
Could they? Or is it a pocket strat that's not going to work? Is it too gimmicky?
I don't know.
That'd be my worry.
It wouldn't, stuff like that probably wouldn't carry him through all of BlizzCon, but you got to
ask yourself, is this going to beat Gen G?
Was it the mid-season brawl?
No. Very few things are going to beat Gen G.
Yeah,
very true.
I don't think from what we've seen, I don't think anything in NA can beat Gen G.
But they've got to go into it with the mindset of
they've got to try. Oh, yeah, of course. You always go into that, but just from a historical standpoint, Team Dignitas is the only thing that looks like it can beat Gen G.
Yeah, so far. Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
Okay, so I will pick Tempo Storm for the second slot. Just so we can have a nice little contest here.
Okay.
Oh, I like this. Yes. I like this. I'm really going to be watching those playoffs. We need something. We need to put something on this.
Here it is. If I win, you both have to tape over the Horde symbol on your BlizzCon World of Warcraft keychain. and use that with just the Alliance side showing until
For
next
how long?
Until next BlizzCon.
The whole
that
year?
is a
and
oh,
have it
man.
on my key.
Yeah.
That's a really long time.
Yep.
I mean, I would do it. I'm up for this.
If either
Okay.
of you win, well, it can't be if both of you win, or if either of you win, then I have to
No.
do that
We each
for
have to
Horde.
have our own thing.
Okay.
Okay. That's your thing. So TBK, what's your thing? I'm trying to think of something.
If you guys lose, you have to dye your hair pink.
Oh, what?
There's no way. No. You're asking too much.
We need to.
can't do that
I was
with
saying,
work.
We need to set limits. You gotta
Yeah,
set limits on me.
That's
Apparently.
beyond the limits. Okay.
have
No,
to shave your
Greg
head
needs.
and
Greg
eyebrows.
needs to. Greg, send. So if I win, Greg sends out a Twitter, a tweet that says, "The Alliance sucks," and burning Tedrasil was the correct thing to do.
Hey, my new game mat, all right, is the opposite of that.
You
I don't remember what
know,
it's
I didn't. I don't want to hear about your game
You're
mats.
a terrible person.
Yep. Yep. Hashtag Sylvanas. And I don't know. I like multis my horde, bro. So I don't know. If
Hey, you
anything
can't really
like
punish me that much.
super bad. Frick. What would I do? I need you. You need to. You have to come up with a complete hero kit for Annoyatron.
Okay. Can do. I think that's easy.
Well, that's a fun
It
one.
just stands there with a with the bubble. Yeah. See, there you go. No, that's good. That's
all
good.
right, Multi, you're up.
And
For
publish
me,
it on
okay.
Heroes Hearth.
So if I win, Gizmo has to just outright insult all of the Alliance on Convert to Raid podcast, which is largely an Alliance podcast, as I have done in the past when I guested on there that one time. And then TBK has to, and we can do it near the very tail end of an episode, after all of the, hey, you can reach us at /join space LOTS. After all that stuff, you got to say a curse word. Just one.
Oh, I can't agree to it.
I've heard TBK curse once before, inadvertently, in a D&D session, I think.
It happened?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I remember it.
D&D sessions aren't like real though.
Okay, how about not on an episode, but just on the stream, maybe?
Yeah, see,
That's peer
you're
pressure.
going
That's peer
you're going against
Okay.
moralistic things. I
Oh,
will I
You knew
will
I was going to do that.
I see, but then if we do that, you have to make your hair pink.
Oh, good point. All right. I'll think of something else. Let's move on.
Okay.
I will find-
Just be thinking like
Yeah,
we've
yeah.
still got we've got till the playoffs. We got till the playoffs. We'll work out something. We'll
I'll
make
have
sure.
something by the end of the episode. But
Yeah, we'll make sure that that everyone knows, and so that we can be held accountable.
Okay.
yes.
All right. Anything else in the HGC? The HGC?
EU side, of course, for our wonderful EU listeners. I believe Team Dignitas has clinched the BlizzCon spot already with their perfect 12-0 record. In fact, they've only lost 4 games.
It's pretty impressive.
Oh my
36-4 game win loss. That is, yeah. I think I'm not great at math, but yeah, I think you're right. They clinched it so far.
Their
well.
points, their game wins minus is 4 times the amount of second place. That's ridiculous.
Pretty crazy. And Gen G doesn't stand up to those stats. At least they've got 9-2 win loss overall, and then game win loss is 31-8, which is still crazy. And in Korea, that's maybe even particularly crazy. But just to compare those two.
Yeah. So no, Dignitas, and you can tell Dignitas this year is in it to win it. Like they are the at least favored BlizzCon finals team. If you looked at the standings right now, you would say Dignitas will be playing Gen G in the finals.
Hopefully they
A
don't. get
lot
put
can
in the
change
same
between
group,
then.
but
It'll be interesting. Yeah, it'll be interesting. Below them we have Team Liquid at 8-3, Fnatic at 7-5, Method at 7-5, and Leftovers at 6-5. So a little bit of a larger chunk of teams that has stayed relatively close behind the Dignitas thing. So any of those 4 teams, we could potentially see clinching the second and the third spot. Because remember, EU does get an extra BlizzCon slot because of their Western Clash.
yeah.
Right.
So 2 of those other 4 teams most likely will be grabbing the second and third spots, with Granite Gaming, Roll20, and Monkey Menagerie at 3-9, 2-9, and 1-10. Granite Gaming and Roll20 will most likely be fighting each other to stay out of the Crucible.
Gosh, I love Monkey
And
Menagerie.
so it'll be
I really do.
The name is legit. Yes, for sure.
I hope Roll20 is able to stay out of the Crucible after just sponsoring the team like 2
Just
weeks
jumping back on. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Okay, I did think of it, TBK. All right. If I win, if Tempo Storm gets in, you have to, when you go to BlizzCon, either wear a custom-made shirt or at least hold a sign. And all it is it's an image of Brightwing, and underneath it the words, "You're a thing."
Okay.
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 I will do it.
Look,
All right.
Looking at the EU side here with Monkey Menagerie, this is my dream for EU. Okay. Then you go down to the open division, and we have Holy Bananas in third place. Now
boy.
it's unlikely, but it would be great if they come up, they make it into the HGC, and Monkey Menagerie stays in the HGC, and then who wins in Monkey Menagerie versus Holy Bananas?
I just don't know.
I mean, it's the monkeys because they eat bananas, but still, it'd be great.
Well, which came first, the banana or the monkey?
Or the bananas
I don't
take
know.
out the monkeys to
Yeah.
move into the HGC.
You
That
never
would be
know.
an upset.
The que-
Absolutely.
Questions of the Nexus universe. You just never know. Okay. Is that it for HGC? We got it?
Yeah, that is it.
All right.
I think so. We had a whole bet interlude in the middle of it, but it was
did.
good otherwise.
And we almost forgot EU. Never forget EU.
Never forget the EU.
Let's move on to
Hero of the Week.
all right. Hero of the Week this week, Mephisto, Lord of Hatred. And guys, I gotta say, I'm super excited for this guy. I've only played one game with him, but when he was announced, I was really excited. More excited for him than I thought I was gonna be. But I have one complaint, and it's not really a complaint. I think this goes back to the discussion we had with Tychus, Stitches, stuff like that, not being too graphic. I'm not a huge fan of his art style in this game. I don't know if you guys had a discussion on this, of what he looks like.
A bit. It's kind of hard to do with him because how he looked in Diablo 2. I mean, it's just an older game. It wasn't as high resolution and that kind of thing. So I honestly, like, this entire time the game's been out, I've thought, no, they might add Mephisto someday, but I've never really been able to picture how he might look in the Nexus. So I think they did what they could, but
It's a T rating
Yeah.
versus an M rating
yeah, that
Yeah.
too.
in
And
a lot of ways.
yeah, but okay, so what's your beef with it? Do you not like the big rippling exposed muscles, or is the crackly electricy spine tail thing?
I don't really know, because I didn't play. I played Diablo 2, but not at an age where I really remember that game very much. And I think whenever Mephisto, people figured out it was him because the leak, the picture that was going around was like that dude's terrifying, with like the huge horns that come down, and he's mostly just bone, like a skeleton. To where
I mean, this is pretty terrifying. I would not want to encounter this in like a back alley.
Yeah, I don't know. But and I don't hate it. I don't
No.
know. But regardless, in the one game that I played with him, I did get MVP. His kit feels super cool. We lost, but that doesn't matter because I got MVP.
Right.
His kit feels great to me. I'm really bad at teleporting position, shade positioning. I go way too far in, and I miss my Lightning Nova. But it's okay. We're going to fix it. You know why? Because you two are going to teach me some Mephisto tonight. That's right. You guys aren't only educating our listeners. You're going to educate old Gizmo on some Mephisto.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Sounds good.
Fine.
If you insist.
So, TBK, why don't you take us through his trait, his abilities, and heroics here real quick?
All right, so real quick, Lord of Hatred is his trait, and that is hitting enemy heroes with basic abilities reduces your basic ability cooldowns. Skull Missile and Shade grant 1.5 seconds cooldown reduction per hero hit, and Lightning Nova grants 0.3 seconds per hero hit. He's got his 3 abilities. Skull Missiles fires a missile that travels in a target direction after 0.75 seconds, and heroes hit are slowed by 25% for 2 seconds. Lightning Nova is a thin stream of lightning around him as early on, and I want to point this out because when he first came out, I was confused by this, especially because I'm a quick cast person. The damage only happens on the outside of the Lightning Nova, not on the whole inside of it.
Yes.
I think I know what your confusion is on this one. The tooltip reads, enemies within the ring take the damage, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And so when you read that, you kind of think, oh, as long as they're in the ring, I do the damage. But yeah, upon just playing him a few times, you start to catch on to the fact that, no, as you cast it, as the Nova is pulsing out, it actually shows you an indicator as to where the outer ring of this is, and they have to be in that ring.
Yes,
in the ring,
that outer ring,
not the circle.
Yeah. Picture like a wedding ring. They have to be in the metal, essentially.
Yes.
It's the radius, not the volume.
There you go.
Sure. Yeah, the outer edge.
Yeah, the outer edge.
The circumference
Does that work? Yeah, because that's
of the circle.
going around the circle.
Yeah, going around the circle.
I am
It's
not
not
great
inside.
at geometry. This is why I don't play Hanzo, people.
Why are you bringing math into this?
I don't do geometry or Hanzo.
This is a family-friendly podcast. But Lightning Nova, Ring of Lightning appears around you for 2.5 seconds. You have to get the enemies inside that small outer edge ring to actually do the damage, and enemies within it take 48 damage every 0.25 seconds. And each time a cast of Lightning Nova hits a hero, its damage is increased by 4% up to 40%. So it's good to try and keep it on the same 1 or 2 people for the entire cast if you can. Shade of Mephisto teleports you to a location, and this is something that a lot of people forget too. But when you teleport to the location, it's actually like a mini Li Ming Calamity. It does deal 78 damage to nearby enemies, and then leaves behind a Shade of Mephisto at his original location. And then after 2.5 seconds, you teleport back to the Shade. In almost every situation, even if you're stunned, if you're silenced, there's very, very few things that will keep him from going back to the Shade.
One of them being Gorge, am I right?
One of them being Gorge.
Yeah, that actually happened to me today. So fun times.
Void Prison.
I would.
No, I've not gotten caught in a Void Prison to see.
I
yet.
could see it locking you in, but then maybe you still snap back.
Like
Although I don't know if the Shade would stay there long enough.
Well,
That's an
normally
interaction with Jekken.
it pauses abilities, so the Shade would probably stay there. And
I would think
the
so, yeah.
2.5 seconds would pause.
The Shade would have to be disconnected from Mephisto from an ability standpoint for it to blink out without him going back to it. So I would guess no, that wouldn't stop it. That would just kind of pause it.
So I honestly hadn't even noticed that there was damage on Shade of Mephisto. Question for you, TBK. Had you gone in and tested it out? Like, do you know the radius on this thing?
It's not super huge.
So there's
It's
an
like
awkwardness
Calamity.
to it. Yeah, like Calamity. So if it works like that, it's kind of weird because like you want to shade in and be at a good range for your Lightning Nova. So like if I jump right on top of a Nazebo, I then would have to like back up a couple steps, start my Lightning Nova, and by then I've already snapped back to the shade. So I don't know.
Yeah,
There's
no,
something weird there.
I kind of see that damage as bonus.
Just
If I end up
wave
doing
clear
it,
maybe.
yeah, you could jump into a little bit of a wave, get a little bit of damage on, or if the hero you're targeting, because I always shade in to maximize the radius of my Lightning Nova. And so if another hero happens to be next to it that wasn't the direct hero I was meaning to attack, then yay, bonus, I did a little bit of extra damage to him.
And you can also, the way I was trying to use it, at least, it was mainly for the damage for the cooldown reduction. If I was like a team fight and my Lightning Nova I was needing to get that reduced so I could get that ability off, even though maybe not immediately.
That's a good point.
So
Yeah, you get the
because you'll still
Lord
get the
Patron
cooldown
from it.
reduction.
Yeah.
It's an ability. Mm-hmm.
Well, great. I was just not even using one of my abilities to help out my Lord of Patron trait. That's good to know.
This
Maybe I'll get
is
my
why
numbers
we
up a
do
little
Heroes of the Week.
Exactly.
We all learn together. First heroic, Consume Souls. You channel for 2.5 seconds. You reveal all enemy heroes, and after the channel completes, all enemy heroes take damage and are slowed by 40% for 2.5 seconds. And then Durance
I think it's just
Durance?
Yeah.
of Hate. After 1 second, you unleash a wave of evil spirits that root the first enemy hero hit for 2 seconds, deal damage to them, and then it spreads outward from its initial target, rooting and damaging additional nearby enemy heroes.
Yeah. In some ways, feels like the sheeps on Medivh, the polybomb, but not really. It's that your team, the opposing team, could spread out to block this essentially. But traveling, spreading CC is how you think of it.
Interesting. I really liked the Consume Souls.
Turns out most people do.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it a little bit.
Cool. All right. Multi, level 1.
So level 1, actually, it's kind of an interesting one for me. I had tried out a few of them, and I hadn't until we started looking into this build. Tried out Malicious Intent yet, but now that I have, not going back to some of the others. So Malicious Intent is where Shade of Mephisto grants 20% spell power while active, and for 2.5 seconds after ending. So, and as we go through this build, you're going to see we have a couple situations as we go into later talents where we're being a bit more defensive in terms of, spoiler alert, you can get some armor down the road once you've cast your Shade of Mephisto and that sort of thing. So if you can do a few of these things and you're a little sturdy in that 2.5 seconds that you're out there, again, if you get hit by most forms of CC, you're going to snap back to where you were. And it just kind of works out nicely because you can dash in, start your Lightning Nova, get a bunch of people locked in that, and do a bunch of damage. And then when you snap back to your previous position at the end of the 2.5 seconds, you then actually can just lob one of your Qs at that target, and it's still buffed with the spell power bonus. Also, should work with Consume Souls as well. So you could do a combo where essentially you dash in, get your abilities off, snap back, hit the Q, hit the R, and then just do a lot of damage in the short span. So I'm kind of a fan. Another tip on using this too is that I've seen a lot of the Mephisto players that I've played against, and honestly myself at first, only really use the Shade of Mephisto at maybe max distance to pop out of a bush, maybe get a few attacks off and that sort of thing. You don't have to. You could honestly just be in the laning phase against someone, level 1, and just teleport just right beside where you were, or maybe into the minion wave, now that I know you can do damage doing that kind of thing. And just do it for the bonus. So you could really power yourself up a good 20% at level 1, which I gotta think, I haven't tested it against every other laner, but he's got pretty good wave clear if you can line up the Lightning Nova pretty well. So I gotta think that's something that could be played with there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's also since we're talking about Shade of Mephisto, just kind of a little add-on to Shade of Mephisto. You should be looking like I've seen a lot of Mephistos, jump in from the back, line to the center or to the enemy's back line, do their damage and pop back, which is decent in a team fight, especially if you're supported. If you're not supported super well, they know exactly where you're going to snap back to. So in some ways, it works a lot better to use shade north to south instead of east to west.
I could maybe see that, so that you get in and out of a bush as opposed to just moving in the lane.
Yeah, or over the top of a wall.
Right.
It also gives you a little bit better of a retreat point in some circumstances, depending on how things are going.
That said, it's definitely not an escape, and
Yes.
I feel though.
Yes.
It is not.
Indeed. So yeah, because like essentially you snap back to that point. If you use it as an escape or try to, like if you confuse this with Li Ming's, teleport that she has, you'll be snapping back to where you were. And often, like, okay, you could use it to dodge an ability. If that's what gets you out of Jaina's blizzard, and that's the blizzard that would have killed you, oh yeah, just do it. But at the same time, the team might just be gathering around where your shade's sitting and have an Uther stun waiting for you or something, So,
Yes.
so yeah, just something to keep in mind on that one for sure.
That is one of the things I'm working on. I do that too often.
Feels like an escape for the first few times you play him.
Yeah. Part of me wants there to be a talent somewhere that makes it to where your point doesn't show, like where you came from.
Oh.
Which still really wouldn't
Could be
help in those
interesting.
situations because they can see where you started. But yeah, I'm getting better. I'm at the point now to where it's like the only time I try and use it as an escape is to, like, if my team's retreating, I use it towards my team. So I'm like, help me, please. And then most of the time
And
my
then you
team
pop back right in the middle. of the
most
enemy.
of the time my team keeps running and they don't help me. But it's like
I
a
guess
last ditch
if-
effort.
I guess if you do that and the Zarya turns around and shields you, and you get a quick heal from all 3 burst divine pleas from a white main, then yeah, that could be worth it. But otherwise, no, you might still die.
Yeah. At that point, you might as well just teleport into them to get that little bit of damage off.
Which, hey, if you're going down anyway, sometimes that's the right call.
Yes. All right. Let's move on to level 4 here, which, by the way, Malicious Intent is that's the talent I did try. A lot of these are actually the talents I tried, so that's cool. TBK, level 4.
So level 4, there's kind of a clear winner currently, and in the first round of balance stuff for him, this is one talent I could see potentially getting some tweaks. Static Barrier. At the end of its duration, Lightning Nova grants Mephisto a shield equal to 50% of the damage it dealt to heroes for 7 seconds. And so, interestingly, somewhat like the shield on White Mane's Q you can get at level 4, this can negate a lot of Mephisto's weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when it comes to snapping back and being very vulnerable in a certain position, because depending on how much damage you do, you can get a legitimately very large shield for 7 seconds as you snap back.
Yeah, especially
and
with Malicious Intent.
Yeah, it makes him
Right.
very tanky. So as of right now, definitely check that out because it's very, very strong. The other one you could maybe look at as well is Hateful Mending, which is the Skull Missile, heals Mephisto for 50% of the damage it deals, especially if you're good at hitting the Skull Missile. If there's a lot of melee that are going to be clumping up, you could potentially get good value from that as well.
I think
I had tried. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I think Spite is actually a really cool talent, and I'm wondering if that is something that will work well on the smaller lanes, because his cooldowns are fairly high, but
But it scales down with his Lord of Hatred trait, of course. Yeah,
it
so
does. But this makes it even
more, yeah.
faster.
Yeah, I had tried going kind of a trait build a couple times on him as well, and I didn't hate it either. I took anger at 1, spite at 2. There's a build if you go kind of that route where you can have just massive uptime with your abilities. Like really, your lightning nova is just pretty much up all the time.
That build has massive mana issues, though.
It does, yeah. You just kind of burn through it, and you have to go back and drink and return back and stuff. But I still think there's something there if you're up against a comp that you have to just lay into them with the sustained damage, perhaps. But no, this static barrier. I mean, when you think about it too. So if the shield lasts 7 seconds, and of course, I mean that's an uncontested shield where you aren't really getting the value out of it, of course, because you would if you were being attacked, and that would take it down. But regardless, so if it's up for 7 seconds, the lightning nova is 14 seconds. They reduced by Lord of Hatred trait. So, I mean, it's more than half uptime on the shield.
How do you, prediction-wise, see Static Barrier being nerfed? Do you think they just bring down the 50%, or do you see it being like a base, percentage of your health, your current health?
I see them bringing down the percentage of damage that gives to the shield.
Okay.
And maybe the duration. It could last 5 instead of 7.
That's true.
That's not as important, really, but...
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing. The bigger thing is what makes him one of his weaknesses with the no escapes and such. And this just, like Whitemane, allows him to survive probably more so than intended for being the type of character he is. And so I just see a smaller shield if that talent is nerfed down to a 40% or a 30% or something like that.
Okay.
Well, it'll be interesting too to see like how crazy is this shield if stacked with other damage reduction shields, etc. For instance, one of the first games I played, I think I mentioned on the show, was they had a Zarya as well that would shield him as he went in, and then he'd get the shield from this after the Lightning Nova was finished. So I guess now's the time for Varian and Shattering Throw, right, TBK?
Honestly, Shattering Throw is amazing situationally.
Yeah.
With Varian, and it's one of those things that you'll know already by then if you need to take the shield down, because a Shattering Throw will instantly delete that shield.
Thankfully, not instantly delete Phoenix anymore. Thankfully.
That was a rough bug.
Right.
All right. And Static Barrier, again, talent I went with and agree it is good. Multi, level 7.
Level 7, we're going to go with Ghastly Armor, which I already kind of hinted at, but to read it off for you guys, Shade of Mephisto grants 20 armor while active and for 2.5 seconds after it ends. So it's kind of the same philosophy as Malicious Intent in the same sense. You get the bonus as you cast the shade, and then it lingers around for another 2.5 seconds. And it, in this case, is, of course, particularly impactful when you actually have it out, because especially if you're doing one of those deeper dives and you've dashed as far as you can into the back line, this just is one more tool to make sure that you're not getting totally blown up in that situation. So it's super good. The other ones are pretty good, but and I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't read into this. There's a talent later on, though, that helps you out with those other ones a little bit as well. That's all I'll say right now. But yeah, Hero's Hearth has this one at 50% over 20 and 30 for the other two. That is Froststorm and Trickery, respectively. Also respectfully. I'm trying to be as respectful as I can be. But yeah, no, I just it's like, I don't know, because he's a squishier character. When you get armor on a squishy character like this, and even, of course, this could synergize with that static barrier a little bit. You're taking someone who should just be deleted by certain things and making it to where he doesn't get that. Mm-hmm. And it's a big deal, actually.
It's important on this character because he is somebody that does kind of have to get in there to be effective. But I will say, I did not go Ghastly Armor. I believe I went Froststorm, which is the enemies near Shade of Mephisto are slowed by 40% for 2 seconds. I do like the idea of this talent tier quite a bit, but I'm not sure they need to do something to bring the other two up.
Plus Static Barrier provides him too much survivability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And allows him to do incredibly stupid things that he probably shouldn't be able to get away with sometimes.
Because this gets situations to where, say you do Shade trying to escape. This opens the door for, depending on how many people you're against, if you're able to shade away, get that armor, get shields from Static Barrier, and then once you return, you still have that 20 armor for 2.5 seconds plus the shield. It does buy time for people to come and help you escape.
Yeah, and it
that's
does
a lot
kind
of
of throw off.
survivability.
It is.
It does throw off your opponents some too, just to be dashing around like that. So yeah, I've done that too, just to panic, hit the E, and then because of the buffs I get from it, it's just helpful. Walk the other way, Juke him a bit.
Let's move to level 10 TBK.
So in this case, we're going to be going with Consume Souls. And well, I'll kind of talk about both of them and the why. So Consume Souls, this is your channel for 2.5 seconds. You reveal everybody, you hit everyone with damage, and then they're slowed by 40% for 2.5 seconds. So first off, this is just a good ult. It's not an ult that does a ton of damage. So you have to kind of think about where the health bars are on the enemy heroes if you're actually wanting to take somebody out with this. And this can actually pair very well with Malicious Intent, because remember, Shade of Mephisto grants you 20% spell power while active and for 2.5 seconds after ending. So what you would do is you would want to cast that and then start your channel, and then you could actually channel it within the time, because by the time you blink back, you're most likely not going to get the benefit of it, since it does take 2.5 seconds to channel Consume Souls. So you'd have to be almost instant with your channel once you blinked back. So that's one potential thing you can do to get a little extra damage out of it. Revealing all enemy heroes is a huge deal.
Yeah.
I mean, vision is vision, right? That's incredibly strong. This can be great for when you're chasing people, because this is not something you're just going to sit in the middle of a team fight and do. It's 2.5 seconds, which in heroes is essentially an eternity. From an ability channeling perspective. So you're going to want to be back a little bit to actually do the channel for this. But it's a great thing to help your team out, not only putting some extra damage on a fleeing enemy team, but slowing them significantly to allow your team to catch up. It is a fairly long cooldown.
Yeah.
And so we've talked about this some before. You look at the other heroic, and it's an 80-second cooldown. That's a 40-second difference. That's pretty big. The reason I don't think it's competing very well right now, and most people seem to be going Consume Souls, or one, it's very much a pub stomp type ability. If your team isn't built to handle it, or if you're not on your game, it can be very deadly to an unprepared enemy team. However, there are tons and tons of ways you can reduce damage or mitigate this as well, because you do have 2.5 seconds where this is coming to try and do something about it as well. So there are definitely counters. I think the other heroic, I think, is kind of weak because of the 1 second delay.
Yeah, it makes it actually
makes it pretty hard to hit.
Land. Yeah.
It makes it very hard to hit. And if you miss, that sucks.
Yeah,
you are out an 80-second cooldown right now. And so when you compare the two of them, you have 120-second cooldown, but guaranteed hit on all 5 enemies, or maybe a hit on 1 enemy, and then an even smaller chance of a hit on other enemies around them.
I think there's an easy fix for this. I think it needs to read and function, not as a skill shot, but instead it says, right now it says, unleash a wave of evil spirits that root the first enemy hero hit. It should maybe just read that root the nearest enemy hero. So it's not even a targetable thing. It just goes straight to that first hero, automatically hits and roots them, and then spreads from there. I think that would be a little more balanced. I would take that even with a higher cooldown.
Yeah, it could function more like a water dragon.
Or
Yeah,
Kel'Thuzad's shot,
Yeah.
right? You got your Frost Blast, which is basically a
Point and
pyroblast that you target, point and click, and then it's got the AoE radius around it to where you don't take a whole lot of damage, but the other people in the circle do. And so this could potentially be kind of like that, where either you point and click, or like Multi said, it just automatically seeks out the closest hero.
To me, point and click is you could pick a backline hero and really mess things up. I'm guessing they did the skill shot so that you couldn't just grab the Jaina in the back and lock up the whole team. So, I mean, I get the idea behind maybe you just targeting the closest one, which is essentially what a skill shot sometimes would do, unless you angle yourself to get a good shot off on someone in the back, I guess. But so yeah, I don't know. It's a potential thought there, but the skill shot, whiffing it and having to sit there for 80 seconds. It feels like 80 minutes.
You have to
because
sit there
it is,
for 4 games
yeah.
waiting for this to recharge.
You thought missing a cursed bullet felt bad.
Oh
No.
yeah.
But yeah, Consume Souls to me, it just has so much utility to it. So when I played on Cursed Hollow, and I like the decision making behind it because it is such a large cooldown. You know, you can use it to wrap up team fights. You can use it for disengage, and you can use it for vision. You can use it for interrupts on channels. Like we lost, but a turning point for us in the game where we actually got back ahead was we were trying to decide whether to go defend this tribute that was popping up or if they're potentially a boss. What they ended up doing was sending one person to cap. We didn't know where the others are. Boom, you can pop Consume Souls. It interrupts the channel of the altar and then also let us know, hey, yes, they are all at boss. So we were able to delay that objective and then rotate down 5v4 against their boss to wipe them. Or not wipe them, but win that fight. So I really think that's a cool ability. And yeah, Durance of Hate's going to have a ways to go, I think.
Yeah, the
before it pops
vision
up
is
there.
my favorite part of Consume Souls. The damage, I think, and the fact that you have to stand there and channel are kind of on the weak side. The slow's pretty good, I guess. But no, it's the vision, and it's being able to make strategic. Definitely see some. If he's played in HGC much, they're going to be able to use that quite well. So yeah.
All right. Multi-level 13.
13. So we're going to go with a couple different options here for you guys. Let's talk about, first of all, Abhorred Skull, which is hitting a hero with the Skull Missile grants 20% spell power for 6 seconds. You can't disagree with some additional damage on that one. But then there's another one that we want to talk about, which is Hysteria. I'm a fan of this one as well. So Lord of Hatred also reduces the cooldown of Mephisto's heroic ability. So we were talking about how long the cooldowns are on, honestly, both of them, but definitely Consume Souls, 2 minutes, 120 seconds. I'm guessing they had to make it that long to be able to build this talent in, because, you know, if that thing was 80 seconds and you could reduce it with your Lord of Hatred, it would be a bit much. So yeah, it's definitely good. Can't go wrong. I would say Hysteria might come down for me to be a little bit map dependent. If it's a map where I really think that the enemy team might be trying to sneak around and you know, sneak a boss or sneak a camp, or if there's just a bunch of tactical reasons why I'd want to have the vision on them more frequently, Hysteria for sure. But Abhorred Skull, I mean, you know, if you're taking Hysteria, you are reducing your overall damage output because, I mean, 20% spell power after landing the Skull Missile stacks nicely with the 20% spell power that you get after casting your Shade of Mephisto. So you can start to do combos where, like, now, all right, you do a Q to land the skull, then dash in, get all your lightning stuff off, get your shield from that, and then snap back and still have that extra spell power for that second Q potentially. Like, that's the damage output choice.
It's a big power spike.
Yeah,
It is too.
I will say I am very confused by Shard of Hate. This is a very weird talent for me on this character, where basic attacks hit enemies near the primary target. There's not like an auto attack build on this hero. His auto attacks don't do much damage, and
They look cool.
they do look cool, and it's not like a super fast auto attack. It's okay, but that just
Yeah,
seems.
it's just zap zap.
I feel like there should
yeah.
be something else there.
I do wonder if the splashes would impact anger at level 1. I don't know that. Like, would you get even more basic ability reduction by the splashing auto attacks? That's the only thing I can think of.
And it very well could, because the icon for it is your trait.
Right.
So that's interesting. I didn't think about that. Let's move to 16.
You can run out of mana even faster.
There you go. That's what I should do. Oh, if we play an after show game, full mana loss build.
Mana draining build.
Yes.
See, we need a bard in game. So next World of Warcraft expansion, bard's going to be the class. Then we'll get a bard in game. That's just a utility character. You can give more mana like Malfurion, or make things cost less, and then they'll be good. Just give it a year. That talent will be good. 16 TBK.
So for 16, I normally will end up going with Static Field, and this is when Lightning Nova's damage bonus reaches 40%. So you actually have to have them in long enough for that damage bonus to tick up. Enemy heroes within its radius take damage equal to 12% of their max health. So that's a decent bit of damage right there.
Potentially could destroy them. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So this is a huge power spike for Mephisto's Lightning Nova, but it does require you to actually have the person in the field long enough to bump that damage up, and hit the point where you will get that 12% max health bonus. So I really like that one. The other one I sometimes go is Animosity. And with Animosity, this is an activatable. And you can activate it to extend the duration of Lightning Nova by 2.5 seconds. And passively, basic attacks while Lightning Nova is active cause an immediate pulse of Lightning Nova damage. And so this gives you what is essentially a 5-second Lightning Nova. And it also potentially gives you extra damage if you can auto attack while that is going on. And this is also another big damage potential, but it doesn't necessarily have the limit of I have to hit someone all the way up to the 40% to get the big thing. This is a much more steady. This is the beginning of a team fight. I'm close. I don't need to necessarily shade a Mephisto in, because if you shade a Mephisto in, you've only got 2.5 seconds before you snap back. And
Right.
so you'd kind of waste that a little bit. But if you're able to go in maybe without shade of Mephisto and kind of keep that steady damage going, that is 5 seconds of potentially very high damage, especially if you took a poured skull, throw a Q out, get that 6 seconds of 20% spell power, fire off your W, hit your 1 key to get Animosity going. It's a lot of sustained damage.
And in addition to that, I presume, without having tested it specifically, but if you've got a 5-second Lightning Nova rolling, wouldn't Static Barrier still give you 50% of the damage you've done at the end of its duration?
It certainly does.
So that's pretty crazy. Yeah, I'm a big Animosity fan. You do have to remember to activate it naturally, which the first couple times you take it, you're totally not going to, for the record, unless you just love activatable keys and that's your thing. But yeah, it's the timing of it's a little weird too, because, and I'm not exactly sure on this, but I did check it beforehand. I believe it's a 15-second cooldown on the activatable, which is just a hair off from the full 14-second cooldown on Lightning Nova. But as you know, you never really get that full cooldown unless you're damaging anyone with basic abilities because of the Lord of Hatred trait. So it's not every single Nova that you get to bring this up. And so I kind of found myself being probably more conservative with it than I should be. I'm thinking to myself, I'm only going to activate ones where I know I'm going to get a ton of value. But then it's like, if I am only activating one out of every 3 that I possibly could have done, I'm just not doing as many abilities throughout the game. I don't know. So there's a lot of nuance to this one, and I'm a big fan.
Yeah, and I bet that Animosity also stacks with Shard of Hate as well, with those basic attacks.
Oh, now we're getting into something interesting.
So I actually, on this one, I tried the Lightning Reaction, where Skull Missile explodes on contact with Lightning Nova, dealing 144 damage to nearby enemies. Gives you good wave clear. And some good damage if you're good with your Qs. But I do like that static field. Question I have about static field, though. So each time a cast of Lightning Nova hits a hero, its damage is increased by up to 4%. Or by 4% up to 40%. That's not against the same hero, is it? So if you have, like, if they're clumped up, say one tick hits 3, does that boost it to 12? Or just each of those heroes to 4?
It's one big thing.
Okay. So.
Oh, really?
It's one big thing. And if you read, each time a cast of Lightning Nova hits a hero, its damage, the Lightning Nova's damage, is increased by 4%.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter which hero you hit, as long as you're ticking.
So the more heroes you're hitting, the faster you're gonna pump the damage up.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Okay. All right. But like if someone steps out of it and someone else steps in within the same duration, it's still pumping up at the same rate.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's what I thought. Just one clarification. The other clarification on this: say a tick misses, does that reset it? Does it have to be all consecutive, or is it just it stays
without looking at the actual numbers? I don't believe so.
Okay.
I think because remember, this is only a 2.5 second ability.
Mm-hmm.
So you're basically all about hitting as many people as you can and getting that damage from 4% up to 40% as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
So the more people you're hitting, the more damage you're doing, essentially.
Right.
All right. Let's move on to level 20 here, Multi.
All right, level 20. Couple options yet again, and it's honestly just, generally speaking, a pretty fun level 20. One in particular I'm a fan of. I'll first talk about Consumed by Hatred, though, which is your Consumed Souls, one that you're taking there. And so now Consumed Souls as a heroic deals bonus damage equal to 10% of the target's missing health, which is, okay, yeah, that's pretty strong. And then if Consumed Souls kills a hero, that it will also cast one additional time. So, and I haven't seen a full chain of these go off, but I presume it continues to chain. Am I right, TBK?
Well, I mean, it's just a one-time thing.
Oh, it's a one-time thing. Okay, that's right. It even says it will cast one additional time. Mm-hmm. So it's not an endless chain of death. That's
no, that would be absolutely insane.
Yeah. It would also be very hard to do.
Yes, but it is still very good because you're getting 10% extra damage of the target's missing health already on top of your normal damage. Plus, if you can get any spell power stuff off beforehand as well, that's good. And that almost can guarantee you, if you can at least kill a squishy or someone who's low health with that, then the secondary cast of that, it's really going to put the enemy team in a rough spot.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because, the more health they're missing, the more likely you are to kill them with the ability and thus get the second cast. So, yeah, it is pretty good. And it's got a really high pick rate here on Heroes Hearth, too. But I do want to talk about, of course, Shade Lord, which is another one. This is where you activate to swap locations with the Shade of Mephisto and refresh its duration. And then also a tiny little passive. It's something you might miss if you don't read tooltips like this, but kind of important. Shade of Mephisto benefits from all of Mephisto's level 7 talents. So we did cover all of those earlier, but let's do it. We had that Ghastly Armor, the armor that we have when you go in. Enemies near Shade of Mephisto are slowed by 40% for 2 seconds with Frost Storm, and then Trickery. After Shade of Mephisto expires, all slows and roots are removed from Mephisto, and he gains 20% movement speed for 3 seconds. So think of how you might be able to pull this kind of stuff off. I mean, now with the ability to swap with where your shade is after you activate it, it is an escape. You can just dash away and swap and get out of there if you're in an emergency situation. And then like, I need to play around with this a ton more to check out some of these things, but I could see scenarios where like you shade in, get your abilities off, and then when you snap back, you know, you also have trickery now, which gives you 20% movement speed. So it's easier for you to walk back up and land those Qs, land those lightning novas, etc. So it seems real good. Both of these seem really good, but I'm a fan of Shadelord. But I'd be intrigued to hear what you have to say, TBK.
I really normally go Consumed by Hatred.
Is it that good?
It, like I said, Consumed by Hatred and just Consume Souls in general is very quick match friendly, and that's why it's getting some disgruntlement from the community, just because of what it is. It's, in a lot of ways, it is a win more type thing. I don't know if I necessarily would take that one specifically if we were really behind.
Yeah, fair point.
I would probably take Shadelord just to make me a little more versatile. But if we're even or ahead, I'd probably pick Consumed by Hatred.
See, the thing, and I went Consumed by Hatred, and I got it off to work a couple times. The thing I don't like about it is it kind of feels like it penalizes the versatility of Consume Souls. Because now you're not getting anything from it if you're using it for like vision or
just
interrupt.
vision.
Yeah, you're really now wanting to
point.
use it to finish off a fight or close out a fight. Which at level 20, you know, of course, that's kind of what you're wanting to do: close out the fight and then win the game. That's the only thing I don't like about it. I still think it's really strong. I'm really intrigued, and I actually really want to try Mimic. Which is, while both Shade of Mephisto and Lightning Nova are active, Lightning Nova also casts from the Shade's location.
I actually have tried it. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I feel like that could be a lot of damage if you are, especially with your shield and receiving health from Static Barrier. In like the middle of a team fight, you shade still fairly close, so that your static, Lightning Nova is, both of them are hitting like a group if they're clumped up.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The trick to using that one is exactly as you said. You've got to do a not full distance, but close enough cast. And then also, I would think that if you're really good at using Mimic, you'd have to also think through, okay, the size of the ring around the shade as well as myself, and how do these line up, and
that's true. It
all
would
that
be
good
pretty.
stuff.
It's very
tough.
hard just because of how thin the ring is for the Lightning Nova.
That's
and
true.
the stationary ring, typically they just walk out of in a group fight. But again, you know, I mean, this is the definitely the situation where if you got a mosh pit going and you could just line up your rings perfectly, and just, I could see you just deleting an entire enemy team with this. So
yeah,
it is cool.
Excellent. Well, from our two professional Mephisto players here, any last minute
I don't know about that.
tips for some newbies like me?
Mine would, just so that I'll go because my point actually ties into what we were just talking about. I think that one of the hardest things to practice on him is keeping people in the ring of your Lightning Nova. But to do that, really, I think the true nuance of the hero is actually with the Shade of Mephisto. So we've talked a little bit about some of these things, but again, what I've mostly seen against a lot of the Mephistos that I play against, and what I did at first on him, was to just use the Shade of Mephisto at the full length so that I could dive as deep as I could, get a couple, Lightning Nova attacks off and a Q off on one of their backline folks, and then snap back to where I was. And there's a place for that, sure, by all means, but there really is no feeling that's worse than you're just about to finish off that Jaina in the back lane, and then you snap back and you're like, okay, cool, and you try to run up and you try to get that skull missile off, but it's got a little bit of a cast time on it, and maybe you miss or it just doesn't reach far enough, and it's a bit of a feels bad moment. So you can kind of mitigate some of that by, and again, a lot of this you have to gauge, of course, based on positioning of everyone else that you're up against, team comps and that sort of thing. But to do like a shallower shade, if you will, by that I mean not as far, A, prevents you from snapping back as far, so you can land your final abilities a bit better. And then B, it's kind of like we said at the beginning, you could use things like malicious intent to just get the bonus. I mean, if I'm laning against someone that I'm just kind of trading back and forth with, or a melee hero or something, I don't need to dash halfway across the lane to get a couple attacks off on them. I could do a quarter of that, get the bonus, start doing some damage, So that's the thing is keeping track of all the aspects of Shade of Mephisto, but I would challenge folks to try to do some that aren't full length, but rather get some value out of some of the talents that tie into it.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because again, that was one of the things I was struggling with, was always casting at full length, and then in reality just not only being teleported back out of the fight, but also being so close that it was hard to get my Lightning Nova on the targets I was wanting to get it on, which I think just comes with time, playing some games, getting used to the radius of that ability, the circumference, one might say. All right, TPK, what's your tip?
I would say learn your limits. That's incredibly important for this character. Knowing when you can go in, knowing kind of how much damage you can do when you go in, lining that Lightning Nova up correctly, because it is very thin and it can be hard to get just the right angle to get all the stuff that you want in it within the 2.5 seconds that you actually have it up. So yeah, that's the biggest issue I've seen so far with other Mephistos, is they don't know their limits of when to go in or how far to go in, especially as you start out at level 1. Once you hit that level 4, then that level 7, and you can get that ghastly armor, you can get that static barrier, your ability to dive in like that more goes up drastically. But before that, you kind of have to play careful, because you very much can be bursted down quickly.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I've found in my games too, though, that although you can be bursted down quickly, I don't see it happening a ton. I see people try to get like a hard CC off on me or something, and then I just snap back and I'm typically okay. So, but yeah, no, it's a good point. Absolutely.
I feel like if we replay that segment back and you just close your eyes, if you don't know what TPK is talking about, it's a very hot and heavy conversation he just had.
Oh, really?
It was, yes. Anyways, I feel like you guys must have been like playing against me in the game I played Mephisto, or saw that VOD, because both of those tips are very good and exactly what I was doing. Going in too far, not knowing my limits.
I actually watch
MVP.
all of the games you play. Yeah, it's still MVP. That's right. That's a testament to the character hero right there.
Yeah,
broken
so broken. Yeah.
Yeah. I like him a lot. I think he's an excellent hero. One of the more exciting heroes for me, at least when it comes to assassins that have been released lately. So we will keep an eye. Unfortunately, we won't see him in the HGC this week. Hopefully week 10. And if not week 10, then hopefully playoffs, which I would imagine he would be in by then. Let's go ahead and move on to community content shout out. TBK, what do you got?
So first off, fun little thing. Tomorrow I will be taking part in the Heroes Hype Squad Arena tournament. And this is going to be September 13th, tomorrow night at 6 Pacific, 8 Central. And it's going to be a best of 7 tournament draft, all matches played on Lost Caverns. So this is going to be really interesting. Droplets, Tim and Nicole from Heroes of Fitness, Yuna and Jay Sharpie will be on the opposing team versus me, Selenity, Mr. Salt and Slack, Kid Kerrigan, and Vin of Tempo Storm. So it should be a ton of fun. All these guys are awesome pros and hero streamers, and we're just going to have fun with it. It's going to be good.
Excellent.
You're playing against the Heroes of Fitness folks?
Yep.
You realize they're like super fit, right?
It's true.
Gee,
Thankfully, that doesn't translate a ton into video games.
I think it does.
Hey,
I think it does.
I said I didn't say a ton. I said not a ton. It definitely does. Being in good shape. Here, the fitness tip: being in good shape can help you in your reflexes and your hand-eye coordination.
I need to work on this personally.
good news is third ban, you can ban Cho'Gall every game.
It's true. Like, not gonna let
Because
them.
you know they're going
not
to.
not gonna let them have it.
All right.
They'd be all over it.
Yeah, that sounds like a horrible idea. Hopefully, I'll be able to break out my stitches. My
surely.
classic Lost Caverns stitches. That's always a fun one. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Check it out tomorrow night.
Excellent.
Secondly, some pretty awesome artwork for skins. I'm linking it in chat. It'll be in the show notes. Wild Druid Dahaka. This actually showed up on the subreddit today, and I saw it as I was kind of browsing through, and I would buy this in a heartbeat. This is really cool. It's like Dahaka with like a wood armor. Think if you played WoW, like some of the feral druid forms from Legion that looked more naturey.
Right.
It's got like the wooden hand claws. He's got little trees growing out of his armor, and the tip of his tail, a little beard of leaves for one of his skins, and then he's got like a glow in the dark like mushroom skin.
I love
and then
that
like
one,
a
yeah.
flower autumny type skin. It very, very cool concept. Very cool concept. I would buy it.
Yeah, and then they could do it up as Christmas trees for the holidays as well.
That'd be awesome. A skin of a skin.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's skinception.
Variation. I guess it would be a variation. Still, that would be really cool.
It reminds me of a creature from some movie, and I can't think of what it is.
Not sure either.
One day.
Probably like Fern Gully or something.
Um,
No, that's the big toxic
or maybe it
monster
was a
thing,
game
right?
or something. I don't know. But
Well,
it's
they had lots of like little tree creatures and berries and stuff. It's been a while since I've watched that movie. It probably scarred me as a child. It's a weird movie.
Is that
You
the one where
repressed half
they're
of it.
cutting the trees down, the forest?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a sad one.
Yeah, the person shrinks and they have to stop the sledge monster.
Yeah.
Is that the one with all the blue people on that planet? Oh wait, no, that's just has the same plot.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
Hey,
It's the animated version of that one.
Right.
They came first.
They're both animated.
Yeah, mostly.
Technically, yes. And then finally, I did something a little different this week. Hopefully, me or one of us will do it again at varying points in the future. I asked on our Twitter what your favorite Heroes map was and why, and got several responses. It's really interesting to read. A lot of Tomb of the Spider Queen. That one is very popular. Towers of Doom.
Yeah.
Also a very popular map. Infernal Shrines, Dragonshire. And a lot of these have been thrown out as just very balanced. And I think that kind of collaborates with the HGC, as we do see a lot of these maps that people are talking about fairly often. Infernal Shrines, another one that was mentioned, and then Battlefield of Eternity. And I really like that as an answer, because to me that is like the 2-lane map that all of the 2-lane maps should be measured against. Because I think Battlefield of Eternity is a great example of a 2-lane map done right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an interesting question for me, and I again think it speaks well to the design of these maps. That's a really hard question for me to answer, like super hard. Because I have like, I'm right now going through like 5 or 6 in my head. Like, oh, I like this one. I like this one. If I had to like say something immediately, it would either be Braxis Holdout with the changes they made to that. I used to hate that map. I think it's really interesting now. Or Infernal Shrines. The thing I like about Infernal Shrines, I like the size of the map, and I like the camp positions. I think the 2 camps in mid lane create some interesting decision making throughout rotations on the map that I really like. But reading through some of these, I see one from Slice. It says Alterac and Warhead tied for least favorite. That's also interesting. And again, it's because I haven't played for like 3 weeks. What are your guys' feelings on Alterac now that has been out a little while?
I personally think it's, of course, thematically awesome, but that in the end it's just kind of a map. I don't know. Like, it doesn't blow me away in terms of its mechanics in any particular way. I do like the longer fights over the the jails that the cavalry units are in, but otherwise it just kind of plays like a Heroes map. And I have similar feelings about the returned Hanamura too that we covered. I like it, I really do. I think it just kind of functions as a map. And to me, like, that's what it should do, absolutely. But for me, when I answered this though, my favorite is just Dragonshire, because I've always loved, and I wrote this on here, I love the small skirmishes that happen over the top and bottom caps, and then also that it's kind of a different experience at the DK in the center, because you've got a point you have to stand on top and bottom, but then you have that other push and pull of just trying to stop someone from channeling in the middle. I've always thought that led to like really interesting rotations and just fun gameplay across the board. I always like any time where the fight breaks out into like 2 sets of 2v2s or something, Then you're playing Lords of the Lane in the middle of it. But yeah, TBK, what was your take on Alterac at this point?
Alterac's kind of interesting. It's definitely gotten better since they balanced the objectives some. It does still feel like, to me, there are a few too many one-sided stomps on that map. Very rarely do I see that map go to very even. Both sides are close to each other in terms of like buildings down and stuff. I think the second objective is very powerful and has very strong push that can turn things quite a bit depending on who gets it. But overall, I really like the concept. I think it might be a map that still needs a little more tweaking and a little more balancing. But I really like the overall concept and some of the just different mechanics in it. If I had to say my favorite map, though, it would probably be pretty close to a tie between Dragonshire and Towers of Doom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Fair assessment.
I do love Towers of Doom. I love playing it, and I love watching it.
It is the most fun one to watch, I think.
For sure.
Yeah.
Dragonshire is growing on me. I used to really, I wouldn't say hate that map, but it was a frustrating one to play solo in Hero League, because the rotations on that map are pretty difficult and important, and it's hard to do. But it actually it's gotten better in voice, and just the more I play Hero League, because people are now used to that map because it's a very old map. So, excellent. We do not have any emails this week. You guys make me sad. It's my first week back. I was excited to read some emails. And
Next
you let
time.
me down. All of you let
Next
me down.
time.
I'm just kidding. I love everybody. I love everybody so much. So much. Don't know why that's still on my.
He gets really weird after he's been gone for a few weeks.
Yes.
You spent too much time on that cruise, is what you did.
Yep.
That's true. Before we get out of here, before I get weirder, because it's happening right now, I can feel it. I'm like a teenage wolf, except teenage weird. That's what happens. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. Multi, why don't you let people know where we can be reached?
Turns out I've actually never known what I was talking about this whole episode. I've just been tripping over my words like crazy. So it's fine. You can find us on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and Patreon at Lords of the Storm on each of those. And again, thanks to anyone even remotely thinking about the Patreon there, but totally optional for those of you who don't want to opt in to support the show, but it genuinely does help support us. If you want to play with us, though, there's a few ways of doing it. You can find us in-game by typing /join space LOTS, or you can hit us up on our Discord, bit.ly/lotsdiscord. And if you want to email us with feedback or questions, and thus make Gizmo a little bit happier, that's at lordsofthestorm@outlook.com. And I just want to thank anyone that's also taken a moment to leave a review, iTunes, Stitcher, or any of the other avenues. We'll try to collect them and read them out on the show. No new iTunes yet today, but we still got that awesome one from last week, so it's totally cool.
I haven't seen that. I looked for it. Maybe it just hasn't updated on mobile. Because
This
that was
wasn't
2
last
weeks ago.
It's August 30th, so
I'll
yeah.
have to see if I can find it again.
Keep trying.
I will.
Keep trying. Yeah.
Alrighty. You can also find us individually, myself on Twitter at Gizmozord, as well as Twitch. You probably won't find me there right now, but you can go there and then possibly find me there in the future. Hopefully find me in the future. As well as Convert to Raid presents Battle.net News, which is currently on pause because Pat Crane and myself, we just like to be busy and then move at the same time that we're busy so that we can't podcast. But no, he's moving and he is currently setting up the new studio, which, by the way, setting up new studios is really fun. That's like a hobby. If I had time and didn't have to worry about technical difficulties the next week, I would set up my studio different every week, probably. But that's neither here nor there. You know what is here or there, though? Multi, you are here. Where can you be reached?
What's he going to do without the broadcast bunker, though?
The Battle.net News, broadcast bunker. I don't. That's a good question. What the next one's going to be called? We'll have to.
It's got to be even more epic.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing. You can find me on Twitter at Multizord, and you can also find me on another show called Hearth Casual, and we are doing a full episode this week. That's with Brian Rowe from Rail Maintenance, and actually, there's a lot of interesting stuff happening with Hearthstone esports right now. We got all the playoffs leading up to one of the last things before, essentially the fall championship for the deal. So we're going to talk about that a little bit, not as much. I mean, it's a casual show for sure. But they did actually just announce and implement the bits cheering for Hearthstone. So turns out I've got some background knowledge about that from the Heroes of the Storm podcast I'm on, and I can share that with them.
What podcast is that?
I think it's called Into the Nexus.
Oh, okay. I thought it was gonna be Core for a second.
Yeah,
because
Core, okay.
the one, that show where they talk about store sales and stuff. From what I hear,
that's the
they
one.
love
Yeah,
that stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
TBK, where can you be reached?
You can find me on Twitter at TBKZord and over on Heroes Hearth, TBKZord on the blog as well. I should have some new stuff coming in the next few weeks, so keep an eye on that. And then, of course, tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 Central, twitch.tv/HeroesHype for the Hype Squad Arena match. It'll be a lot of fun.
Hype. We want to give a special thanks to our patron producer, Ouroboros Sword, for helping support the show. As well, special shout out to TBK and Multi, keeping the show going while I was on hiatus. Appreciate it. Feels good to be back. I missed you all. We will see you all same time, same place next week, Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central. Till then, have a good one.
Enough. I shall do no more.
Yay!
We did it.
Yay!
Mm-hmm.
Feels good to be back.
Yay.
Good to be back. And I'm excited to be able to play video games again.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
It's been weird. It's like the last month has really flown by pretty fast.
Yeah, just because you're so busy and such. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
But without video games, man, that'd be like going around without your left arm.
It's true. And like as I had mentioned on Twitter, so as I'm still unpacking and stuff, my studio, this area, is actually what's supposed to be my bedroom. But beds aren't important,
Nah.
nor are bedrooms. So my
what
bedroom's
floors are
actually like
for.
in my living room area.
Or
But,
couches.
Yeah. I have a lot of space for activity in here, though. It's going to be great for my VR. I'm not going to be punching my desk anymore or the walls because that really
That's-
hurts.
Yep.
I think you
that's
still
solid.
should. Just for fun.
Yeah, just for fun.
Mhm.
I'm sure my, apartment people will love that for whenever I move out. Like, what are all these marks? I just punch the wall. It's one of my hobbies.
That happened in one of my college houses, actually. So, yeah, I mean, it's a thing.
That's the thing.
JPEG, I am alive. I am alive.
He's alive.
But yeah, do we play a game?
Yeah.
Do we do it?
I'm down.
You're down? Oh, I shouldn't be down, but I do want to. Let me check with the wife. I'll start signing in, though. Give me a second.
So we switch to in-game voice there, Gizmir.
We should.
Kite.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Okie Oh no. We're gonna do that. And now nothing's up. I'm still here, don't worry guys. It's just gonna take a second. Or two, three. Maybe a few more. Why is it on that screen? Why? That is the wrong screen. That it should not be on. How do you make... Does anybody know how to choose which of your monitors is the main monitor? We will see some instructional Mephisto gameplay. Possibly. Depends on who's playing it. If it's me, probably not. But you'll see what not to do. We can do that. And I got a whole bunch of things I gotta do. Look at this. I gotta change what all's where. That's kind of loud. Let me turn that down a little bit for you. Go 59. Does that sound good? Might still be a little loud. Alright, display settings? Maybe? Advanced display settings. Nope. That's not it. It's
like he's doing a cooking show.
we're gonna just a little bit of this, maybe. I know you can do this. I've done it before. Right? Like you should be able to click which one and then be like make, main monitor. Stupid Windows 10.
I can't hear you, Greg, if you're trying to.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
You're very loud.
Hey, TBK, got a
Yeah.
question for you.
Super loud.
Super loud.
I'm loud?
Yes. Super, super loud.
Well, you should turn me down. Hold on.
I've already got you halfway turned down.
How's that? Is that better? Is it still too loud?
It's about the exact same.
I went down 51%. Hold
You
on.
went down nothing.
How about now? Is that better?
That's better. That's better. There
Okay.
You go. There you go.
Okay, so question. Do you know, on like display settings, how to choose which monitor you want to be your main monitor?
Yes.
How do you do that? I don't remember.
Okay, so on Windows 10, let's see here, let me pull it up so I can give you the right thing.
There's this thing that says make Windows better. Yes, do that.
Um,
It
the
won't let me
one,
click it.
the one on the left side is the one that's going to be your main one, so you can click and drag it exactly how you want it to look, and that's how the mouse will move. So you can put one on top of the other, you can put one below the other, one on the side, one like halfway below the other. You can
Well, I
turn them
knew
into a really cool kind of setup.
that because they're like scrolling the correct way from when I had them set up before, and my game was on the middle monitor yesterday, but now it's on the far right.
So whatever monitor is your one, kind of what you want to.
Well, that didn't do anything. That didn't do anything because I just switched it, and now the game's still on the same monitor, but now all my monitors are out of whack.
You could also check on your. Do you have an NVIDIA card? Setting your primary display on your NVIDIA panel too. Potentially.
Today we learned.
Well, hello, boys and girls. Today we're gonna learn tech support for Heroes of the Storm.
Multi, you're not saying anything. You're just staticking. That's you.
One up full. I believe we do need a fifth.
I've got the D&D Beyond song stuck in my head for some reason. D&D Beyond.
All right, you know what I'm gonna do here? How do you force? Shoot, hold on. I got this.
Cheers, love. It's almost BlizzCon time.
Boom!
I'm
Outsmarted
so
it.
excited.
Isabel,
I thought one up full was.
Multi doesn't
was
have
20.
time for your crap.
I was just trying to let a listener join us, but you know.
Got time. If they're on, are they on?
Hold on.
First one to say something in the Lots channel
Yeah.
wins the spot.
Yep.
5, 4, 3.
Yeah, Multi, what are you running?
All right. Well, that's the wrong channel. Still in the wrong channel, but
It's all right.
I'm laughing. How dare you be in the A Move channel?
There we go.
What do we look like? Into the Nexus fools? Wait, I like those guys.
All right, guys. So I'm gonna do all the things we talked about, tips to not do on Mephisto, and just put a better example of not knowing your limits and shading too far. Too much shade.
So weird looking.
I feel like I don't know what Mephisto's dance is, but I feel like it should have been something to where like he dances, does a few like hip hop moves, and then crosses his arms, and those pixel sunglasses come down. You know, like Thug Life.
Oh,
Because he's
yeah.
throwing shade.
I can see that. Be kind of cool.
Butt Merles.
Isn't time moving at like a really, really fast pace, or is it just me?
Like,
Oh, BlizzCon, you mean?
I mean, in general, but sure, BlizzCon could be the.
I mean, that's usually time moves in view of your next targeted goal or event. And
That's
BlizzCon
deep.
right now.
But it's like it felt like it took so long to get here, but at the same time, it's like, oh my god, like. It's. Wow. Yeah. It's 7 weeks away, gentlemen.
Yep,
7 weeks.
it's true.
Are you prepared?
7 days.
I'm prepared. Dribble, you can go full damage on your Kerosene if you want to. Probably
Ooh,
be going
TBK,
Healy build.
how close are you to that level 1000?
Potentially with this game.
Oh my god, why did I think that Multi was Taronda, and you were Varian.
I
know it's weird, isn't it? Weird dynamic. What do they got here? Chromie. Oh yeah, we're definitely going spell armor. Yeah.
I guess this dance makes sense.
The battle begins in 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Just got my basic stuff out.
Show them that they came here to die.
Ah, I love these Hero Storm sprays, and it's all I'll ever use probably.
Ooh.
Multi going down, you're going up.
Yeah. I feel like Gul'dan's gonna be pretty rough against Mephisto.
And this team's staying all middle. Good. We'll distract the middle.
They still all there?
Yeah. Like, they're not going to really get a push far at this point. They're losing so much soak right now.
Good. Oh crap. Oh, thank you.
Choose a talent.
Okay, now they've moved around.
Yeah, Gul'dan's up top.
I'm sorry, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, welcome.
Oh, cool. I was like, my mic's not fucking hooked up. Finally.
Prepare yourselves for
It's after show.
slaughter.
Fine.
3 top.
Oink. Well, handle it, Gizmo.
I am.
Should we get that camp before the thing starts? Or there's
Yeah,
not
let's
enough
do,
time?
let's
Never
do this camp.
mind.
This camp.
Hey, the little one? Okay.
Close, yep.
Gul'dan back to top
Level
still.
lead already. This is great.
Go forth. Activate the shrine. Slay its guardian.
Be middle in a second.
The Punisher will
Clear this wave.
serve the
I did grab True Shot for our auto attackers, so.
They started it.
Okay, let's go in.
It's just Gul'dan, I think, and Crummy maybe. White man.
Let me know when you're about to taunt if you can, Multi. So I can follow it up. Up a D on him. Boom, boom. Alright, just a few more. We want heals. I mean,
I'm stuck top.
actually. Alright, let's have one person go bottom to soak.
Let the heavens fall before our mortar punisher. Choose a talent.
Just get as much damage in as we can on this.
Cooldown top.
Punisher has been slain.
Top cam.
Maybe. Sure. Slowly dribble down from there, just up mid. Kill these little
Hanzo,
guys
too
first,
predictable.
Then I'll throw Hunter's Mark on the big dude.
I missed.
Right. Hear the trendy. Or mid. Not in trouble, just more of an FYI.
Annihilate.
Got him.
Nice job, Greg.
Thank you.
Oops.
Choose a talent.
We got 2 healers, so I'm gonna go Starfall.
Back out, back.
This shrine gathers power. Claim it in my name.
Alright, let's grab this Merc camp real quick. I'll save Starfall for the shrine.
Trying to be sneaky.
Loose the
We're not
punisher.
going to be able to do much to contest this
Tear our foes apart.
because they're not 10. Alright, so let's start this up. We'll get a nice lead, and or they'll have to fight us with. There we go, that's what I like to see. Combo, good
That was bad.
Yeah! Yeah, I'll get to save Starfall for the push. Frick.
Here they come.
Oh no, it feels bad, man.
Alright. Catch a dribble. Barely. Alright, let's finish this thing off. I'll push with this one. Because our middle merc camp's still doing good work.
Forces and shatter them. Double kill, triple kill.
Ooh.
Choose a talent. The heavens shall weep over that well-deserved. Enemy slain. Heaven's forces have slain our Punisher. Double kill.
It's so nice knowing I have spell armor on my Q. I can just pre-Q the thing.
Enemy slain.
Armor on him. Anti-armor on him, I should say.
Rise them.
Alright, let's pull back. We've done good. Take their things.
Make them our things.
Some more things. You really hope that I lose, don't you? That's gonna be amazing if that happens. I'll totally wear a shirt that has Brightwing on it and says you're a thing. Probably with a little polymorph icon or something. That'd be kinda cool. Let's get all the camps.
Enlist the aid of these mercenaries.
They say.
They can't do anything.
Okay, I'm not too. You got a 4-level lead right now.
Yeah, but still. They come in, they team wipe, there goes that 4-level lead. You guys coming over here or are you down there? Oh, fine. Nobody ever hangs out with me.
Oh!
Rhonda Bird! Ow!
Ready. A shrine gathers power. You will take it for me. Annihilate it. Double kill.
Oh!
An enemy fort falls to
Ah!
untouchable. You know what to do.
That minion got what it deserved.
Oh no.
Unleash the Punisher.
Oh no, Dribble!
Now.
Oh, shit.
What?
I just realized it dropped.
We see you. This is arcane, so we should be able to really push with this one.
This arcane Punisher shall serve us well.
Let's go push with our Punisher.
on, Kerosene. Ugh, this AI.
AI has been so wonky for a while now.
Yeah. Walking in weird circles and stuff. It's weird.
Should be able to
Almost
end
die.
here.
No, I'm gonna die. I was trying to get a kill.
Woohoo! They call me Stacks Galore.
Yay.
Yay. Yay.
17-0.
Whew.
MVP.
What? I feel
Get carried, bro.
Oh my god. You are so mean.
I'm the Lord of Hate,
I'm not
bro.
voting for you.
Gosh.
Oh, did you guys end it?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Sorry, my router picked up on me.
Okay.
it's. Is it? Wait for it. Wait for it. Oh my gosh.
What?
29,000 XP away.
Oh.
That would have been the perfect one.
Huh? Mephisto might be my new Phoenix.
You mean your new overdose hero?
Legendary.
I like him. All right. Well, I'm gonna go
So
get the
angry.
podcast ready. GG's. Thanks for joining. I might be playing a little bit after I get the podcast up because I have off work tomorrow. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Bye,
Lucky
Wicked.
old man.
Bye, Dribble.
Greg, we should just play one more game.
Okay, you convinced me. If you're gonna twist my arm about it,
Stay in dribble. He doesn't have a
He
voice.
left the party, yeah. Or he left the voice. Wait a minute, I don't know. Oh, I don't see him.
I guess
Probably play somebody that I can.
we gotta see if Mephisto's a fluke. If I can go 3 for 3 MVP.
Well, I'm guaranteed to level up with Toronto regardless of how we do.
Did you broadcast that Gizmo's back? Really?
What?
You know.
Oh,
the
that
little
was that was
broadcasting?
yesterday.
I wasn't.
Or the day before, whenever I got to play my game of Mephisto. I think it was the day
But, you know,
before.
I always check out because it has a little thing that tells you when somebody's broadcasting. So I'm like, oh, what did Gizmo say?
Because I actually got home fairly early from work yesterday, and I was like, oh yeah, I can play some WoW. Let's do this. And then I sat down and I turned it on, and I was like, I'm super tired, and I have to wake up at 5 in the morning, and I went to bed.
Adulting.
Yeah. Is L Train still on? He's in
He's
Hero
in a
League.
Hero League game. So I don't know how much longer. He's like 19 minutes
You
in.
can ping him and ask him if he's gonna be done in the next like 2 or 3 minutes.
You don't interrupt people when they're in Hero League. Gosh.
I interrupted him.
So is Tyrande like a legit solo healer now?
Most definitely.
Yep.
Wow. That's kind of why I picked Karazim in the last game. It's like,
No, I got you covered. Like you can
Alright, cool.
you can totally build her as a solo heals now, and I love it.
And her win rate is ridiculous.
I know she's broken, but she needed that healing though.
I like it. I like the direction they took her, and I hope they don't nerf her too much. They're gonna need to nerf her a little bit because she's
Yeah.
at 56%, but
It's crazy.
Question: why does Mephisto have a pelvis?
Because he likes to party.
That's fair enough.
That's your question. That's
Well, he doesn't have any legs. Like, that's the full point of a pelvis.
is it?
Yeah. You got your sockets of the femur going there. It's where they they rotate around.
I mean,
And it's
I'm
also a
not really
birthing canal.
sure- But I mean, like, isn't like part of it for like the top part of your body to be able to move or some crap like that?
Not
I don't
the
know. I didn't take
pelvis.
anatomy for long.
Also, I have this cool light in my chest. I guess that's lightning.
yeah, that would seem like a reasonable assumption.
Are you sassing me
You're
right
basically a spine with arms.
What did L Train get back to you? Anybody?
Nope.
All right, let's go.
now? Click my friends list. I'm like, where's everyone at? Oh, they're in WoW.
Right?
Yep.
Everyone. And then Gorath is playing Destiny 2 for some reason.
Did the new expansion come out? DLC, whatever.
Yeah, I guess it did.
I still stand by Destiny 2, at least for the base game. Like,
fine.
I should not have bought it on PC, but I got more than $60 out of it on PlayStation.
Sure. Yeah, I played the heck out of it for about 2 weeks.
I did not get my money's worth out of it. By the time I got to max level, the first expansion had completely negated all progression. I was just like, screw everything up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I never tried the second expansion. I think I went back to WoW after that came out.
I don't know. WoW is, if they're gonna, I think patch 8.1 is really gonna have to blow me away to keep me interested.
Really?
I again, I'm not max level yet, but I'm not a fan of the talents for the armor.
I don't like the Azerite system.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
No, I
Island
don't like
expeditions are super boring.
I haven't done any of that stuff yet.
Warfronts are, they're cool the first, maybe the second time, but they need to be PvP and they need to actually be hard.
I agree. The expeditions aren't bad if you do PvP, but other than that, yeah, it's just like grind.
The leveling's been really good.
Leveling was great.
The
Yeah.
leveling in Warlords was amazing too.
And the raid's alright. I didn't hate it.
Is it better or worse than Night? What was the Emerald Nightmare?
I put it on par. I think the mechanics are kind of
I think it's a little harder than Emerald Nightmare
reused.
was.
It's harder, yeah, but
Hey.
not by much.
It's my-
And aesthetically, it's whatever. But
It's
I
my,
actually really liked Emerald Nightmare.
my first time on the new Hanamura.
All right, who wants top? I think it's gonna have to be you,
You top.
Gizmo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Commence operations.
Because we want our tank with the 4-man.
Okay.
This is
I love this. I love the celestial mounts. They look so cool.
My
They're
only-
so trippy.
my only real target here
See,
is
the new
White
one's
Mane.
gonna be the snake.
I got it.
Yeah.
Oh, you got it already?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I got it when I bought Mephisto. Ooh, Mephisto's shadows
I don't
look
got
really
money
cool.
Like that. Damn. The raptor.
They're only,
I
they're
like
only
the raptor.
technically only $5.
Yeah.
Oh, oh,
Got her.
nice. Nice.
That'll do.
We need to win this one so that when I take the screen of the level 1000, it looks good.
It has to
Oh
say
God.
victory.
Yep, it has to say victory. Be nice if it said MVP too, but we'll see about that.
Wow.
Harder to get MVP with healers.
Well, everyone else just do really bad, but good enough to win.
Good enough to win.
Their White Mane is bad.
Oh shit.
They are body blocking me and I'm dead.
Okay, we're able to get
Fair trade.
what's his face out of it too.
It'll be your MVP since I died.
Select a talent.
Let's try this. I like that you on this map. I like that you actually have to put some work into the vision camps.
Crap, crap, crap. No.
Payload deployment is about to begin.
So slow.
I'm out of here.
Alright, payload. Load. As they say somewhere.
Just tapping real quick.
Escort the payload.
Fight on the payload.
Oh, I hit the wrong button first. That's unfortunate.
Oh crap. I missed her.
Go, Genji, go.
Oh, come.
Select a talent.
Nice, nice.
We did a thing with the stuff.
Let's get the vision camp.
Oh, that was bad. I'm not leaving.
Oh, we're not. Hit this one. 'Cause if you can pick both these up, it's super nice because then they have to reveal themselves to.
So it's not timed, like it stays up until they take
No,
it?
It stays up until they take it.
That's
Alright,
cool.
This guy's dead.
No, he's not. Ah, I missed the stun.
I did too.
Oh, they got a real camp. You want to get a real camp?
Oh, they're trying to take this one. Oh, Genji, get him!
No!
have been slain.
I got both view things, whatever you call them. I forget.
We need to take him back if we can.
Select a talent.
Get him.
Do you guys want bunker?
Slain.
Can I go combustion?
Yes, bunker, please.
You just call it out when you need it.
The payload will be redeployed.
All right, payload time. Let's see if we can grab this camp real quick. Real quick, like.
And let's push him top.
Can wrap on them on bot.
Wrap on him, wrap on him.
Escort the payload. Slain.
Alright. 4v5 now.
Double kill.
Thank you.
Nice.
Very awesome.
Some heals.
Watch Naz. I don't know what he's doing. Period.
He's trying to kill Genji.
Alright, I put Mark on Illidan.
He's running away.
Won a Hero League game as Illidan.
get that bottom tower.
Nice.
What are you doing?
Okay.
Payload fired. Fort destroyed.
Easy kills. Oh my god, Genji has some freaking balls.
Cajones.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
I helped.
Slain.
They always go after the Genji. We could push top really easily.
We need to take the vision camp as we go back too. I do have shadow stock in case we need it. Let's take the camp.
If we can get him out here more, I can slow him. We have a talent advantage.
Okay. They're here. Oh, geez.
There we go.
Quad kill. Mega kill.
That just happened.
Yeah. Where'd Diablo? Oh, he's back up already.
Select a talent.
Yeah, he had shards.
Don't forget you have a turret too. There, Wigan.
Yeah. Keep trying to find the best moment to use it, but we're doing. I usually use it during the scuffle over the objective. You're going in the wrong way.
Enemy fort destroyed. Payload redeployed.
Wow.
might be a good moment.
Whoops.
It's all stealth. Look at that turnaround with the shadow stock. Oh my god.
Nice.
Freaking shadow stock. Push in a little bit.
Untouchable.
Should we go for objective?
Yeah, we should. Let's get the wall down first.
Yeah, 4v1.
Okay, objective now. They don't even have their 16 talents though. We're just kind of waiting for Blaze to get back, so we should be okay. This is the hard way.
Just gonna clear this way real quick.
Yeah.
Which leads us deepest into their territory. Wicked, you still got your turret, so don't forget. Use that if we need it.
Oh, now we lost triple again.
A hero has abandoned the fight. Hero rejoining the fight.
Alright.
Oh, that X strike by.
Yeah, it's a good Genji.
They are mad.
Careful, careful.
Oh no.
Okay. We get it, you're mad.
Save me. Oh my god, I love you.
You're just so far ahead that we're can actually like do crap like this.
Keep destroying.
Alright, let's head around. Let's get that last work on that last keep. And grab this real fast on the way.
Incoming.
We need you, Tracer. There we go.
Oh.
Alright. We might just be able to finish here, potentially, with the dude. Got your heals. This guy's starting to hurt.
Select attack.
Nice.
GG.
Yay! Let's see if you got your MVP.
Look at that.
I think
Look at that Toronto
Genji
healing
did.
versus their white man healing. Their white man was terrible.
Yeah, I called that out at the beginning.
Oh,
It
that's
was
a
like she was so
Oh
bad.
man.
dope Genji skin.
Always the Genji.
Well, he was really good.
Oh yeah, no question. 28 hero killing spree though.
You win.
Yeah.
Get your 1,000.
Level 1000.
Aww.
How does it
You
feel?
got 4 digits.
Feels pretty good.
It's gross.
We'll have a party when I make 500.
I made 543.
Ooh, a rare chest with triple rares. Pretty cool.
One more? Or?
No, I need to go to bed after you get the episode up.
Oh, nice.
Okay. All right.
And Starlich.
Ooh,
GG's
that's a
Wicked.
good skin.
Dribble.
Yeah, good one. GG.
Thanks for the
Thanks for
games.
having me.
Yeah, thanks for playing.
Yeah, I had a great time.
I'll let you know when it's up, TBK.
Sounds good. Good night, guys.
Good night.
All right, stream. Thanks for hanging out for the post-show games. Hope my Mephisto didn't disappoint. I learned a lot from today's episode. I hope you did too. But for real, it was great to be back tonight. I missed Heroes of the Storm. I missed Lords of the Storm. I missed you guys. We'll be back next week. Same time, same place. Remember. All right, we'll see y'all later.